Alright guys, BLM here, back with a new stream once again. Again, got to do the normal stuff here when we start the stream. Got to change the game and check the audio and everything, but yeah, everything should be good. It should be the same settings as last night. I did obviously stream last night, and again, this will be a very similar stream. We'll just be continuing on with AC Brotherhood. Now, can I find AC Brotherhood here? There we go. So yeah, let's go. AC Brotherhood. Okay, so there we go. Change the category. Now we gotta test out this stream, and then we should be fine. Hello? Hello, hello? Wait. What's that noise? I just love the echo. It's like fucking dumb. Okay, just testing things out here. Okay, I think now it's good. I don't know what that was. There was like a weird noise a second ago, but yeah, we're good now. So let's go. Continue on. Yeah, we're in the middle of a mission. Oh yeah, we're in sequence 4. So I think my goal for today, again, like I'm probably gonna go and try to stream for similar amounts of time, which last night I did 3 hours. We'll probably do a similar thing here. And yeah, I want to get to, let's see, I mean, to be honest, if we can get to sequence 8, that would be perfect. If we can get to the beginning of sequence 8, that would be perfect, and I can finish the game tomorrow easily. So I think that's probably what the ideal goal would be, but if we don't get it, we don't get it, but I think we should be able to within 3 hours. We'll see. But yeah, so we gotta recruit our first assassins. Okay, cool, I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I mean, in terms of stuff to talk about, too, there isn't that much. I mean, there's not that much going on right now. I did work today. I mean, like, really, like, my entire day was pretty much, I woke up, watched BB Australia, took notes of that while watching it, and then, played like an hour of Final Fantasy 15, and then after I had to go to work, and, yeah, and here we are. Again, it is, where I'm at, fuck, I don't know why I stumbled over my words so much there. Where I'm at, it is 11:20, so, yeah, actually, I mean, I already got out, like, I mean, I could have, like, started streaming, like, an hour ago. I don't know how I wasted so much time there, but either way, we are here. Again, probably gonna go for 3 hours. That is on, like, obviously, unless I, like, really start to lose it or something, but, we should be good. And again, like, we should definitely be in a position to finish the game tomorrow. I don't, like, tomorrow should be a pretty lax day for me. I do have the day off. And, like, again, it's the first Wednesday in a while where there's no challenge, there's no BB can, there's no, circle, there's nothing. Like, it's nice. I mean, obviously there's BB Australia, but it's nice to not have a billion fucking, I forgot, we need to do a Borgia Tower at some point, don't we? Because we need to get another, we need to get 2 more recruits. We'll do that eventually. How much money do I have? 4,000. Ooh, I need more money, too. Yeah, I've really been, slacking here in terms of, doing this side stuff. Like, I need to get money to buy a well, I don't technically need to buy a crossbow, but it would be ideal. Especially because I just want to, like, finish the final fight, like, super quickly in, like, the most ridiculous way. Which the best way to do that is, like, just shoot him with the, actually, wait, do we have... Yeah, we're not going to be able to get more pistol ammo. Whatever, alright, we'll figure it out. Doesn't really matter. Like, it really doesn't. But again, this playthrough Brotherhood, we're really just gonna rush through it. Again, like by the end of this episode, it'd be cool if we can get to sequence 8, and then next stream, which will probably be tomorrow. I like to finish the game off, and then if I'm feeling like it afterwards, we'll probably play Da Vinci Disappearance, and if we have time after that, then we'll figure out what to do. But yeah, if we can get through sequence 8, we'll definitely finish the game tomorrow pretty easily. This is shit, by the way, like the rest of sequence 4 here, because all of it is just forced missions here that are like trying to show you how to, like, essentially they're tutorials. Like this mission, the mission after this, which is a ridiculous tailing mission, like probably one of my least favorite missions in all of Assassin's Creed. And then after you have the war machines. So again, it's a lot of tutorial stuff here, and this is so dumb. Like you walk up to them and they just point into it, like point at a direction. I'm an idiot. It's over here. I love how like none of these women are freaked out by the fact that this like guy just killed their friend. Like they're just like, okay, we'll just stand here and point. It's so dumb. But yeah, yeah, I mean, there really isn't much to update on. I mean, BB Australia has been... It's weird. Like, I feel like I'm more invested in the people on this season. Mainly, I feel like I'm more invested in one person on this season than I was in all of last season. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. I should have used the... Obviously, you're supposed to use the recruits. Whatever. Who cares? We're not going for full sync. But yeah, I mean, in BBAU, like, I do really like Daniel. I think he's just such a great character. Like, he's really, I mean, he is the star of the show. I mean, he's obviously getting so much airtime on the season. And to be honest, I do think there are some very, very, like, really wonky things going on where, like, I feel like production's really trying their hardest to keep him in the game. Like you can, like, there's so many things that just so happen to go his way. Mind you, I think they screwed him over to begin with, but still, it's like now in the position where he's on the bottom, I do feel like they are really, really going all out and trying to help him. I mean, they gave him that advantage in the immunity challenge. They gave him, what was it, the immunity the previous round because he was sick. Again, it probably was true. Like, he probably did get sick and everything, but the fact that they just hand him immunity, they're like, oh, he can't compete in this immunity challenge, so he's gonna be safe. It's like, that's dumb. Again, very much feels rigged. It very much feels like production's like, hey, we gotta keep Daniel in here. But again, I think he's a fantastic character, though. He very much reminds me of David, to a degree, from Survivor South Africa. Survivor South Africa Champions. Like, he's kind of like that, except for, like, the opposite in a way. Like, obviously, like, Daniel is, like, a realtor. Kind of a more... kind of a more, like, city person. Like, he's just as, like, socially, like, not necessarily awkward. I mean, he is awkward, but I'm like... But it's like, they give me, like, this similar sort of, like, frantic energy that I really do like. Where, like, again, like, David's, like, more of, like, a country guy that didn't really, talk to people in his real life. But, like, yeah, on the island, like, they give me, like, within the game, they give me, like, very similar, styles of energy. Should I go for this, Border Town? But yeah, thank you, Zendi Twitch. Yeah, I mean, the content on the channel, I just enjoy talking about Big Brother, Survivor, all these shows. Okay. I did not mean to do that, by the way. I'm an idiot. Like, obviously, like, I still do this content on other things that people seem to not care about, but, what are you gonna do? Like, obviously, right now, I'm playing, Assassin's Creed, Brotherhood. It used to be a massive Assassin's Creed fan. What am I doing? I'm literally being an idiot here. Used to be a big Assassin's Creed fan. Now I'm a disgruntled Assassin's Creed fan. I can't even call myself a fan anymore, though, right? Like, it's like, I just don't like, ugh, it's like, I can go on rants for forever about Assassin's Creed, but obviously, like, most people watching this don't care. But, and to be fair, if you want to see me rant about Assassin's Creed, I've done them in previous streams, so whatever. But yeah, again, like, I can talk about Survivor, Big Brother for forever as well. Okay. Am I really gonna lose a recruit this early? Like, that's really dumb. How am I losing a recruit? What? I really lost a recruit at stupid Borgia Tower. Whatever. Like I said, like with this Twitch stream, again, these will be very lax. I'll just be talking about random stuff while playing games that I already played before. Come on. And like considering how much I've played this game, I should be so much better at playing this game. Like, I've played each game in the Ezio trilogy at least 20 times. Like, I've played this game at least 25 times. It's like, how am I not better at this game? Like, it's really sad. Hopefully this isn't the one. I know there's one Borgia Tower that you can't climb unless you get the climb leap. I don't think it's this one, though. Like, it shouldn't be this one. I mean, it should be one of the ones in a higher ranked area. Yeah, we're good. Game? Can you climb? Oh, fuck off. Okay. Is it really not going to climb? Why is it not going to climb? Am I forgetting something? Okay, well, let's see if there's another thing over here. If there isn't, then fuck me. Okay, we're good. Never mind. There's another one over here. Yeah, we should be able to climb this one because it has that bar. Okay. Which he doesn't even use for whatever reason. It's so dumb. Yeah, I mean, I made the channel, the Marine Review. It's, again, it's supposed to be a channel that more so represents, like, my taste in things. Like, that's why I initially started it to be, not, like, to just focus on Survivor and Big Brother. It was to really talk about everything. Yeah, okay. You're watching Survivor from the beginning? Watching 39 is rough. Like, the fact that you've only... Actually, those are two terrible seasons to start off on. Like, to start off with 39, the season that's, like, plagued by the sexual abuse stuff. And then, or sexual, whatever you want. Like, the dance below stuff. And then you have 40, the all-winner season. Like, those are two terrible seasons to start off with. But, yeah, I mean, good that you got into Survivor. Season 1's rough to watch without context, I feel like. Because I feel like I enjoy Season 1, but I feel like again, I feel like I enjoy Season 1 more so because it is Season 1 and because of the historical relevance behind it. But I mean, to be fair though, I mean, like you have great characters there. I mean, you got Richard Hatch, Sue Hawk, Rudy, obviously. You got, like, Jervis, Colleen, Greg. Like, you have good people on there. Oh, yeah, this is the dumb mission here. This is what I was talking about, where this is, like, the dumbest tailing mission in Assassin's Creed because it's so pointless. And it leads to nothing. It's literally just a dumb recruit, like, a thing to teach you how to use the assassin recruits. Yet you have to tail him for a good, like, 3 to 4 minutes for, like, no reason. And he says nothing. It leads to nothing. It's pointless. But whatever. Yeah, but, very strange way to, when watching... Okay, alright, let's not fuck this up. But when watching Survivor, like, I would always, I just realized something, by the way. You said that you watch all my streams. Did you really watch my test stream, my first test stream? I do not recommend watching my first test stream. Again, I was an idiot and didn't realize that my audio was too low for pretty much the entirety of it. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Either way, but yeah, Survivor. I would recommend watching from the beginning. That's the way I like. That's the way I do every show. Like, to be honest, I'm someone that is a completionist in terms of series and shows and all that sort of stuff. Like, I can't not do everything in like within that series. Like when I watched, I mean, too fair. I mean, I say that, yeah, I did the challenge and didn't do that. With the challenge, I started on Fresh Meat, went to the duel, went back, and then like whatever. But like, to be fair, that's also because the challenge is a pain to find every episode for. But like, if it was my choice, I would have started from the beginning and watched all the way forward. But again, like with Survivor, I do feel like that is definitely the way to do it. Hey, good on you for watching that test stream. I would not have watched that test stream. That was pretty bad. Like, to be honest, I was considering taking it off, because it's on, the Marine Review Live channel, the YouTube, the VOD channel. Yeah, I was thinking of taking it off just because it's so bad. I don't know why, I'm such an idiot. I'm not even paying attention. Like, I literally just killed them despite using the recruits anyway. Whatever. Yeah, I would not. I would not watch it personally, but yeah, good on you. Okay. Do we even need to fight these guys, do we? Oh, no, we do. Okay, never mind. Yeah, that is the thing, obviously, that... I don't think... have I even talked about that on stream? I must have at some point, but... Yeah, I do have the Marinian Review Live channel on YouTube, which is, again, just a VOD channel. It's where I put all these... Because, that's the thing I don't like about Twitch. I don't like that Twitch just deletes streams after a certain amount of time. Like, that's just something that really irritates me, so it's like, well... I'll put them on YouTube, whatever. Just because... What am I doing right now? I guess we need to do one of these, right? Can he do this? No, he can't. Cool. Okay, sorry. I'm actually gonna try to pay attention here because I don't want to, like, take forever looking through all these menus. Really? We can't even do that? Wait, what is difficulty 1? Okay, fine. Whatever. That was pointless. Okay, back to what I was talking about. Which I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, Marine Review Live. Yeah, so that is a VOD channel that I created. Just for the sake of it. Again, just putting all these streams on there. Oh wait, we can't. I'm an idiot. Can't do that. Alright. Come on. Yeah, so far, I mean, I've been liking how these streams have been going. I mean, obviously, like, they're just, like, I'm just streaming games and talking while doing it. But, like, I don't know. I've been enjoying it. Again, just doing... Again, because, like, I would be playing this anyway. Like, it's just, like, why not? Talk and see who listens, I guess. Oh wait, okay. I didn't see your comment here. Yeah, season 39 was my first season. Liking. Yeah, I mean that's a great cast. Like season 39, with the exception of Dan, obviously, like is a great cast. Yeah, I mean season 1 is slow. I mean. That's kind of my problem with like older reality TV in general. I really just older. Well, I shouldn't say older shows in general, but like yeah, older reality TV. I just feel like it's most of older reality TV is like produced in a way that's just like it's definitely slower pace than what you would be used to nowadays. Though I think now Survivor's kind of gotten to the point where it might I think it's too fast paced. Like I feel like there's a happy medium that they had like around the 20s and late 10s, whatever you want to call it, But yeah, I mean, season 1 is pretty slow, pretty dry. I mean, like the thing is, like, but I come from a spot where, like, I've watched Survivor UK Pulau Tika. I've watched Australian Survivor 2002. I've watched, like, these other seasons that are so much. I've watched Survivor UK Panama. Like, I've watched these seasons that are so much slower. So, like, I think in, like, retrospect. Actually, wait, let us do this. No, 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 no. Fuck off. I hated that that's a thing in this game. Wait, did he not die? Oh, no, he did die. Okay, cool. Perfect. So this was pointless. But, yeah, I mean, I've watched all these reality shows that are super slow. And, like, same thing goes with, like, BB2. I mean, I haven't watched BB1 in forever, but I'm sure that's a pretty terrible experience nowadays. Like, just older reality TV in general is just, it's slow-paced, and, I do feel like it's kind of hard to watch nowadays when, especially if you don't, like, if you didn't watch those things back in the day. Which I kind of did, kind of didn't. Like, it's kind of weird with me where, like, I was a kid when Borneo, obviously I was like, what, 5 when Borneo was on? So, and I know my parents watched it and stuff, so it's like, I technically watched it, but it's like, not really. But like, like by the time of like Pearl Islands, I watched All Stars when it was live, so it's like I watched those earlier seasons, so I kind of know what I was getting to. Yeah, like Borneo, I think is a season that I've really come to respect more and more over time. I feel like it's a season that, like, even though it is the first season and it is so slow, like, I feel like it has its own charm. Again, like, I think it is so booned by having a good cast, which, again, I don't know if you've watched I assume you haven't watched Australian Outback yet. I personally have Australian Outback as my least favorite season of Survivor, though, to be fair, I'm kind of flip-flopping on that nowadays with Thailand. But, like, that's a lot of the reason why I don't like Australian Outback. Like, I'm too fair, its cast isn't terrible, but I do feel like, oh, he's in the box stuff. I'm an idiot. I do feel like it's such a slow season, and it's dragged out because, like, at that point, obviously Survivor is the biggest show on TV, so CBS decided to add more days to the filming. It was 42 days instead of 39. Through that, they added an extra episode, and they made, like, actually they added, didn't they add 2 episodes? It was a 15 episode season, right? I don't remember anymore. Either way, it's long. It's longer than it should be. And because of that, like, the back portion of that season is so slow. Because, like, by the time you get to the finale, like, the finale is the final 3. It's like, why are we spending the entire finale on the final 3? It's so dreadful. But, like, it's real. Like, again, I'm doing a finale ranking at some point. That will probably be coming out around the time of the finale of Survivor 41. Like, 100% Australian Outback finale is or is at the bottom of that list, like, for sure. Like, I haven't started the process of working on that video yet, but I know for sure that's going to be at the bottom. Yeah, it's so dreadful to watch. It's like, it's so boring. It's like years watching. Okay, well, whatever. If you haven't watched it, I'm not gonna. But it's so boring.
Very, very little. If we are to do this,
but I mean, there are good characters on Australian Outback. I mean, there's definitely some really notable moments on that season, but there becomes a point where it's like there's just like nothing going on, and the editing is just not interesting at all to me. But whatever. Okay, do we have enough money for what should we get? Climb leap or double assassination? Even if we were to get something here. I think I should get double assassination. I don't know, but climb leap's just so 3,800. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have to go for double hidden blades.
I must return to my workshop. Wait here.
You're watching all of Big Brother for the first time too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, like I think double assassination's the way to go, especially because it's cheaper too. And I do want to get the crossbow at some point.
I can kill double the guards.
Desmond, I've scanned Leo's location into the map so you can keep track of
Hey,
him when he
Agent
moves.
Twitcher. I know you've been someone that's
Synchronize
been
with
on
Ezio, you will have
that's
to
been watching, or is it
destroy Leo's
Twitcher? Wait,
machines. I've marked the whereabouts
Engine
of the
Twitcher?
Templars on the
Whatever.
street
I know you're someone that has
I'll
been
update the map
here
with
for a
machine
lot of these streams,
locations are
so
found.
yeah. Hey. Yeah. So are we gonna do? We're probably not gonna bother with doing a lot of the Leonardo stuff. We're just gonna do the one that we're forced to do here. Not what I meant to do. Where is this? Oh yeah, it's all the way over there. Yeah, 800 away. Thank God for that. Did not mean to do that. I'm an idiot. Call horse. Engine Twitcher. Okay, Twitcher. Okay. Yeah. Again, like I was like trying to figure out like, is this a Witcher like pun that I'm not picking up on, or no? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we'll play The Witcher on this channel at some point too. By the way. But yeah.
The world itself is unchanging. We must change to understand it.
Oh no! I'm not gonna start that. Not gonna start the Copernico conspiracy or whatever that's called. What a boring set of missions that is too, by the way. Oh yeah, I did want to read this comment though. Okay. Yeah, the slow show I've been watching all Big Brother seasons. Season 18 is my first season I watched. Season 3 is my favorite so far. It's a bit slow. I just love the season so much. Yeah, I mean, season 3 is good. I am gonna. Well, I mean, I guess that's still like a ways down the road, isn't it? Yeah, because that's next year, right? Season 3's BB3's 20-year anniversary. But I'll definitely do a retrospective for it. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, right? I don't think I've watched BB. It's so weird because like I've watched BB2 3 times in the last 2 years, which makes me want to kill myself. It's like, oh my god, dude, BB2. Ugh. Again, so slow. It's like, yes, there's great stuff within it, but it's like it's so slow. And I've watched it 3 times now in 2 years. 2 of those times 4 videos. What the fuck? What? The fact that I'm not even detected, like he pulled me off the horse to not, like just to not even bother attacking me is ridiculous. But yeah. But then I watched like BB4 a while back, or like when I did the BB2 retrospective 2 years ago. Which by the way, there's going to be another BB2 retrospective this year because I decided to do another one for the 20-year anniversary because the last one I did wasn't that in depth. Like it wasn't in the current format that I typically do, where I go week by week, I talk about player by player, like that sort of thing. So I decided to just redo it. And the same thing goes with Amazing Race Season 1 as well. I'm doing a 20-year video on that as well to kind of just fix the issues there. What's worse, Australian Outback or BB2? Ugh. I think BB2. I don't know. It's tough. I think BB2 has higher highs. Like I feel like BB2, like you do have some great stuff there with again, obviously Will's just such a great character. You have I do find Nicole and Hardy in their arc throughout the season really interesting. I mean, Nicole just in general, I don't think gets enough credit for the game she plays on that season. Like I think and then obviously you have like early on in the season you have the Shannon week where there's a lot of really fun stuff going on there. You have I mean some interesting stuff with the Boogie week. I mean obviously he acts like a dick, but it's still like good TV at points. But yeah, I mean I feel like BB2 has higher highs, but it's so long though, and like that's kind of the issue there. It's like I forgot, like how many episodes is there BB2? It's like is it 29, 30, 30? Yeah, I think it's 30. Anyway, it's somewhere around there. Where I mean, again, obviously this is just Big Brother versus Survivor at that point, but Australian Outback though is pretty slow. But I mean, like the pre-merge of Australian Outback is pretty solid. like, even though, like, obviously, like, gameplay wise, like, there's rounds where there's, like, nothing going on, but again, it's earlier Survivor, what do you expect? There's at least, like, there is some actually pretty good, but then they don't show it, do they? I was gonna say there was some good strategy going on, but yeah, they don't show it though. Like the Mitchell vote is like a really fascinating vote, like especially now in retrospect, now knowing that's essentially Tina's game-winning move. Like she essentially takes control of the game through that one vote, and it's really the first like kind of flip in Survivor history, or at least successful one. So it's like, I think they both have, obviously what I'm getting is, I think they both have their pros, they have their cons. I think, again, like obviously it's like I would rather rewatch Australian Outback than BB2. Obviously I rewatched both of them recently. I did the Australian Outback retrospective earlier this year, and then I watched BB2 not too long ago for that retrospective that's coming out on the 20-year anniversary of that. Yeah, who's better, Tina or Richard? Tina. I'm pretty sure I've said that, and yeah, Tina's better, a better winner, and also a better player. Like I think I'm pretty solid on that. Well, actually, yeah, this is the thing. I am. This is another video that has already been made. I don't know when it's coming out, but I am doing a. Essentially a new version of my winner ranking for Survivor, where I'm ranking them as players. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to not be detected here. But yeah, so winner ranking, but ranking them as players, because I know some people have been asking for that. Because obviously when I do my winner rankings for all these shows, I do them as... Wait, please, no. Fuck off. Okay, I fucked that up. But yeah, when I do my winner ranking, I rank them based on the games that they played on their individual seasons, more so than them as players. And some people have been asking me to rank them as players, so I made that video. It's long. It's like an hour, and I don't even remember how long it is, but it's probably not coming out for a little while, but I'm 100% sure that Tina is above Richard on that list. I mean, Tina's even above Richard on my normal winner ranking too, right? At least my revised one. I don't know. I don't remember on the original one, but when I did the global one, I definitely corrected it for sure to have Tina above Rich. Again, Tina's game's one that I've grown a lot of respect for recently. Where... Okay, wait. I think we got it. Yeah, we got it. Okay. Where Tina essentially dominates the game post the Mitchell vote. Like, after the Mitchell vote, like, through that one move, she essentially flips the entire game structure in her favor. Where now the core 3 that's gonna... Because, like, before that, the core 3 that was gonna... I mean, I guess it was a core 4, really, but obviously, yeah, it was Colby, Jerry, Mitch, and Amber. And within that power structure, probably Jerry and Colby were the best position. But Tina is able to convince Colby, who, again, like, I used to give so much credit to Colby. I think at this point, I fully give credit to Tina for a lot of the things that happened in that game. Where she's able to convince Colby, like, essentially Colby is getting to the end almost no matter what on that season. But he essentially chooses the losing path. Where, like, he chooses to go to the end against Tina when he pretty much wins against almost everybody else on that cast. Or at least everybody else from the Overcore tribe. Like, he literally picks, like, the worst possible option to go up in the end against. And mind you, Tina was going to go to the end against Colby as well, but at least Tina wins the game against Colby. But again, at the end of the day, it's still a fault on Tina, like, for being too, like, when she has the option of Colby or Keith, and Keith is, like, again, she wins 7-0 against Keith. The fact that she wanted to go against Colby, where she only wins 4-3, and she didn't even know that she won 4-3, like, that's bad, but it's still not as bad as Colby. But yeah, Rich just, it's tough with Rich, because I think Rich gets a lot of credit for things that aren't really deserved. Like, he gets credit for, like, the creation of the Alliance, and it's like, he didn't really create the Alliance. Like, one, also, it's just a basic concept that I think almost anybody would have created at any point, but two, it's like, he's not even the person to create the Alliance on the season. It's like, literally, Stacy and Kelly are shown making an alliance before Rich has ever come up with the Tagi Alliance, and even then, the Tagi Alliance, the core of that was actually Kelly and Sue, and they added in Richard afterwards. And then Rich obviously added in Rudy after that. It's like, really, I think Rich gets way too much credit for the creation of the Alliance. I do think I give him a lot of credit for the Final 3. I think the way that he plays that Final 3 round is really, really strong, where he gives up immunity, allows Kelly to win immunity, take him to the end in a position where he doesn't have to burn Rudy, which keeps Rudy on his side. Like, I think he does a lot of good work there. And you can definitely tell by the way he talks about strategy on that season that he gets it. Like, he gets the strategy of Survivor. I just think Rich is Rich, though. I think that's the problem with Rich. Like, it's like the type of person that he is just not naturally a good Survivor player. Like, he is too outspoken. He is too honest with it. Like, that's the thing. Like, Rich is looked at as, like, obviously this big villain on the season, but it's like, he's not a villain because of his gameplay. I mean, like, he is, but he is looked at as that in Borneo because, like, people were anti-alliance and that sort of thing. But it's like, in reality, like, to modern day standards, like, he's a very honest player. Like, he tells you to your face what he's gonna do most of the time. But that's also, like, a massive flaw. It's like Rich does not get, is the type of person that does not get on the good side of most people. How am I fucking this up? Whatever, I don't care. Again, this doesn't really matter. This is just a random mission that the game forced you to do, just as a set piece. Yeah, I mean, like, spoil it for that video, that winner player ranking video. I'm pretty sure Rich is, like, in the 30s. Like, I'm pretty sure he's relatively low on the list. I don't remember the exact placement or anything, but I'm pretty sure he's in the bottom tier. Again, like, ranking the winners as players in terms of how I see them doing on any given season of the show. Again, with that list, obviously there's going to be only 38 players to rank because obviously Sandra won twice, Tony won twice. But yeah, I mean, Rich is, I'm pretty sure, in the bottom, or is, like, below 30 on that list, I think. He's pretty low. Like, he's kind of in this big block of, like, winners that I think may have had, like, more impressive winning games than what their, them as players actually represent, but, like, I mean, even then, like, again, Rich's winning game, like, is not even that great, really. Again, like, I think I ranked it middle, it's in the middle tier. Like, it's not, like he had no control within the game. But I do think the amount of control he had was very overstated. Yeah. Mind you, I still think he should have won that season. Like, I'm not saying he shouldn't have won Borneo or anything. Like, he definitely, outplayed, Kelly in almost every aspect. Obviously outside of the immunity challenges, which, obviously, for me personally, I don't factor too much. Okay, cool. There we go. Oh, fuck off. How many are there? Brant Steele videos, it's too much. I was considering, like, doing it on Twitch. Will I do them on the main channel? No. I think almost guaranteed no. I mean, by almost guaranteed, I mean guaranteed, though. Like, I won't do it on the main channel again, but I have considered streaming me going through Brant Steele's on Twitch, or possibly just recording them on my own, then posting it on the Marine in Review live channel or something. Like, because again, like, I just don't want to clog them up on the main channel. That's kind of why, like, right now they're unlisted on the Marine in Review. They're still uploaded. You can still watch them on the playlist and everything, but they're not on the main channel because they're not I just feel like they clogged up, especially a lot of their, like, because I would do one a week, right? I think that's how it worked. So it's like, it just became, like, that, like, all my videos during that time were, like, Brant Steele's, and it's just, like, I didn't like how that worked there, but, yeah, I mean, like, I can definitely see myself doing brains. I mean, I wouldn't do it in the same way, obviously. Like, back then, like, I mean, I think it's a fun idea. Like, I still think, like, essentially what I did is I did 8 Brant Steels revolving around characters from a franchise. Like, I did Assassin's Creed was the first one. So I got, I don't remember how many characters in particular, but I created entire casts of Assassin's Creed characters. Did a Brant Steel, played them out. You know, it was fun. And then at the end for season 8, I did an all-star season with those characters, and yeah, I had a lot of fun doing them. I wouldn't be opposed to doing more of those. Just I don't see it ever being on the main channel ever again. And I did another one with Yu-Gi-Oh. To be fair though, if I were to do it on Twitch, like if I were to do it again, I would not do that sort of thing though. I wouldn't do big series like that. It would probably turn back into like I know a lot of people were like complaining like, oh, why don't I just do Survivor players and stuff? It's like, to me that's kind of boring. Like, I don't know, but I have thought about like maybe using like the casts that I've created through my casting videos and doing Brant Steels of those. I think that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. So I mean, that's a potential idea for future. I've definitely considered it. But again, it won't be on the main channel just because I don't want to clog that, which is ironic considering it's like, obviously the content on that channel is very wonky with me talking like about a billion different things. But again, like I feel like even within that though, it's still like all the content I make on the main channel is still detailed thoughts on those specific topics, while the Brant Steels are kind of more like live based things. Like, again, it's my raw like reactions to things. It's not edited in any way. It's, again, it's very much like, again, similar to a live stream, and the fact that it is this one take. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the plan with that if I do that. Dan winning 30 times. Yeah. I mean, Dan winning from 30. Yeah. I mean, Dan Foley would be, that'd be great. I mean, like, I like, the thing is, like, obviously Dan Foley is very much hated within the Survivor community and everything. Like, Dan Foley for me is such an amazing character. Like, I know so many people hate him, and I know there's also like this group of people that do like him. I know Mario Lanza has kind of turned people around on Dan Foley, but I think just rewatching Worlds Apart, like, as dark as that season does get at points, like, Dan as a character, like, again, like, he is not a, like, I mean, I shouldn't say he's not a good human being, because I feel like that's too harsh to be on Dan. I just feel like he is very unself-aware and also very,
Where have you been?
I mean, again, like, it's like, I don't want to say not a good human being, because I do feel like he is, I mean, like, he's just, I don't know how to word this, but either way, like, Dan Foley is still, like, everything that makes him a questionable person, like, I think makes him a great character, with the exception of how he treats Shireen and whatever. And, like, obviously he does come off as misogynistic at points. I think that's not great, though I do think his misogyny leads to certain moments on the show that are interesting moments, but not because of the actual, like, it's tough to say without, like, whatever. I'm not saying his misogyny is good. I'm saying that it can lead to good character moments, but again, like, the stuff with Shireen is simply just not good, though.
Bene. I will follow up on that lead.
French soldiers are guarding the road back into the castello. Once Cesare arrives, you will never get...
Yeah, I would be interested, like, again, like, people, like, obviously I did the player rankings for, like, Australian Outback on 20th anniversary, and, like, later down this year, there's Survivor Africa. I'll do a player ranking of that, and, like, I know people was saying, like, oh, hopefully we won't have to wait 20 years for that. Like, obviously I do plan on hopefully going backward. Like, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to go forwards with those 20-year retrospectives, and then at the end of those, do the player rankings for those. I kind of want to go backwards as well. I think I might start off with IMD Idols and go backwards and do player rankings for those. Though, to be fair, that's, like, at this point, it's like, again, the schedule is already made pretty much for the entirety of the year, and I haven't put down the schedule yet. So it's like, I don't know when those will come. And to be honest, like, also, I feel like I need to rewatch the seasons that these player rankings are from. But that is something I would like to do, but I love how this came from like a random thought in my head of where Dan Foley lands on the player ranking, and like I just like instantly turned into something else. But yeah, that is something I would like to do. But yeah, like I'm trying to think like where would Dan Foley land on a Worlds Apart player ranking? Like that would be. Wait, what am I doing right now? I don't even have to do it, do I? Yeah, I don't even have to do it. Well, whatever. So yeah, like where would Dan rank? I mean, to be honest, I don't even know who's number one on a Worlds Apart player ranking. Because I think there's an argument for Mike, Carolyn, and Rodney on that list.
I wish you would stay.
You are the leader of the assassins now.
Gabon player ranking, that'll be incredible. It's not Bob, I can tell you that. Okay, this is the thing. It might be Marcus. Like, I think there's a serious argument for it being a Marcus. I don't think it, actually, now that I think about it, I think it's probably Kenny, right? Actually, I don't know, though, because it's like, Maddie was better positioned than him. And still had a chance of, like, survive past Kenny, had a chance of winning. Had more winning scenarios, probably. I mean, Kenny wins if he gets to the end, I'm pretty sure. But, again, like, based on Kenny's positioning within the game, he was almost never getting to the end. Well, like, Maddie had more scenarios where he got to the end, and probably wins against anybody but Kenny. But then again, like, obviously the Bob matchup is really determinant on who gets voted on that final round. Who would I vote for, Bob versus Susie? I've said this before, I would have voted for Susie. I don't even think, like, it's not like I think Susie played a good game. But, I would have voted for Susie for sure. Because at least Susie was in the majority for, the majority of the post-merge section of the game. Where, like, Bob, like, even when he was part of the majority, he was kind of, like, on the outs of the majority. Like, he was part of the Onion Alliance, which was the majority for pretty much the entire pre-merge section of the game. But he was, like, on the outsides of that alliance to the point where they kicked him out in favor of Randy. Yet he didn't know that. And was still voting, like, blindly loyal to them the entire way through. And then, like, obviously he needs to win out at the end. He, almost gets voted out. Well, I mean, the final 4 rounds wonky, because actually that's where I do think Bob played better than Susie. To a degree, where, like, Susie was actually supposed to go home if she didn't win immunity at Final 4, which is actually insane to think about. They were going to vote out Susie at Final 4. I mean, the fact that, like, you have Maddie and Bob, these two people who are the two biggest jury threats at that point in the game, and, like, they're actively deciding to vote out Susie. Which, to be fair, leads to a Maddie win. Like, a Maddie wins in that scenario of Maddie, Bob, and Sugar at the final 3, which, again, like, I guess I wouldn't knock Maddie too much, because, like, again, like, he wins with the vote of Susie. Like, he would get Ken, Crystal, and... Who's the other vote? Ken, Crystal... Oh, and Randy, though. Yeah, and then get Susie to win the game over Bob. So I guess it's not technically the worst move for Maddie, but it's like the fact that they were voting out Susie at Final 4 is really bad, like, on Susie's end. But again, it's not like Bob played that particularly well either. Oh, I forgot that we're in Sequence 5. So we're about to get to another, like, ridiculously long tailing mission, not too long from now, but whatever.
Stay alert.
Yeah, definitely would have voted for Susie, but again, it's like they're both bad. Like, I would vote for Sugar out of the 3 if Sugar had a chance of winning. But even then, I don't think Sugar played well either. So it's like, I don't think, I mean, again, it's Gabon, it's what do you expect. Yeah, I mean, I think, the more I think about it, I think the number 1 in the player ranking would end up probably being, it would probably end up being Maddie. But it's like, even then, it's like, I'm really, like, giving Maddie number 1 on a player ranking. It's like, I'm giving this, like, doofusy guy who, like, I mean, to be fair, like, he did have, like, decent strategic positioning. Like, he did have, like, a good position coming into the end game, where it's like, I don't think, outside of the scenario that ends up happening, I don't think there is many other scenarios where Maddie doesn't get to the end. Again, because like there were all these like final 3 scenarios that were talked about on that season, and like Sugar and Maddie were like within the ones that at least were around by the time of the end game. Or like Kenny was planning on going to the end with Maddie and Sugar. You had Bob going to the end with Maddie and Sugar. And again, I mean, he probably loses against Kenny though. But then he ends up voting out Kenny, so it's like, I don't know, it's wonky, obviously. Like, I would have to put a lot of thought into this. This is obviously just me spitballing things. Like, and Gabon would be crazy, though. It was such an insane season to assess the players. Yeah, like, Maddie's a slightly more strategic Fabio. Like, Maddie definitely played a better game than Fabio. Like, the thing about Maddie, too, is, like, is he, even in the pre-merge, like the post-swap section of the game, well, in the, like his initial tribe, he is one of the better physical players. He's better, like he's one of the better position people on the original Fong. He gets into the swap where he aligns himself with Ace, and I think he does good work there. Though I question whether the move was like the side with Ace was good to begin with, but it's like still like he was able to like essentially play the middle on that tribe until Sugar just becomes Sugar and does her Sugar thing. But yeah, it's like Kenny, or not Kenny, Maddie I think had some decent instincts at points. I think kind of a problem for Maddie though is that he had no respect from the Coda side of things. Like I think if again like Corinne has talked about Maddie since the season and like very clearly has no respect for Maddie. And I feel like that's kind of the way that the Codas thought about him, like the people that didn't spend time with him essentially thought about him. Is like they just saw him as this dumb surfer guy. Which, I mean, again, he was, but it's like, I definitely think he had more game to him than Corinne gives him credit for.
Where have you been all my life?
We better get out of here.
I know a place.
Yeah,
This way.
Gabon would be an insane player ranking. I think Edge of Extinction would be a really crazy player ranking too. Yeah, who would be number 1? I don't even know who would be number 1 on Edge of Extinction. To be honest, I think there's an argument it's Gavin. Even though literally my Edge of Extinction review, I did a like section where I just bashed on Gavin's game, but I think it might be Gavin. Like, see, look, Lauren. I think the problem with Lauren is that from what we've heard post-season, it doesn't seem like she wins a jury vote against Gavin. And also with her being the one that actually gets taken out over Gavin, like I do feel like Gavin has, like I think for me, I would have Gavin above Lauren. And also I feel like Lauren was also just like, well, I mean, I guess she does get more so in the, like she does start to make plans towards the back portion of the game. I think there's a good, like, the early merge section of the game, though, she's kind of just there. Like, she's not really doing that much. Where I feel like Gavin is probably more active during that section of the game. But then again, yeah, I think Gavin becomes less active afterwards. And then that's where, like, Lauren kind of becomes out. Again, like, it's a bit of a wonky one there. Obviously, you have Rick Devens, which is, like, again, he's not gonna... Like, it's so weird. It's so weird when you have people like that where, like, they win. If they get to the end, like, they come so close to getting to the end, but like the way they got to the end is just such an unreliable way of getting to the end. Again, Rick Devens being a massive example of that. Obviously, like Chris, again, where do I land Chris on that player ranking? Like, it'd be a crazy one. Like, I think it'd be a fun one. Again, like, and that would be one of the first ones I do if I do end up going backwards. Okay, can we not do this, please? Like, there we go. Whatever. I broke my armor too.
abandoned children.
Yeah, that's what I get for not paying attention, but it's like, at the end of the day, who really cares? Like, I'm just playing Brotherhood really for the sake of playing Brotherhood. Just because I've never played Revelations without having played 2 and Brotherhood immediately before it. So this is just kind of a tradition sort of thing for me.
This is the most significant thing I will ever do.
Have I played ORG? Not anytime recently. I've played 1 years back, and it did not go well. But then again, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, that was actually, I believe, that was probably even before I even cared about the strategy of Big Brother and Survivor. Like, this is the thing, is like, I was a big Brother fan for a while. It really wasn't until BB14 though that I started to look at the game more critically and started to pay attention to the strategy of the game and stuff. I think this was like BB13, again, like so long back, and like I was a kid, obviously. I mean, like kid-ish, like I was like 14 or so. I don't remember when was BB13. Either way, whatever. It was yeah. I mean, I was younger. Didn't know what I was doing. I was the second boot. Whatever. Let's move on. Mind you, again, it was pretty much Big Brother. Like, I was essentially like the game I was playing, and I mean, it's essentially like, obviously it was like Big Brother, but obviously you would make alliances through whatever. It's like it did not go well for me. But again, I had no clue what I was doing. I would obviously do things a lot differently now, but I have no real interest in playing in ORG nowadays, though. He's gonna get caught, isn't he? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing with Big Brother. I mean, what is going on right now? Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to be happening, but whatever. Yeah, that's the thing with Big Brother, is that it's very love or hate, really. I think recently more hate than love. Like, I don't know, I have this feeling that we're gonna get a good season for 23, but again, like, that's very much reliant on they stay true to what they've been doing, essentially, or what it seems like they're doing with having a more diverse cast, firing Robin cast and all that sort of stuff. It's like, I feel like they're heading in the right direction. And obviously we saw BB Can, which, I mean, to be fair, was cast by Robin cast, but still, it's like obviously a very diverse cast there, and that turned out to be a great season. Though I think that was, I mean, I think diversity played a factor into it, but I think it was also like the specific level of game players on that season. Okay. Like, I'm hoping BB23 is good. I mean, obviously I would hope it's good, but it's like, I have faith that it can be good. Like, I don't think we're gonna get another BB21 situation or anything. Okay, okay, shit. Okay, whatever, I'll use medicine, whatever. I'm just, like, really sucking at the game right now because I'm not even paying attention. But whatever. I think there is a lot of luck with making Big Brother seasons, though or making a good Big Brother Survivor season, but I think casting is a major factor in that, and I think that is something that you can control to a degree. Obviously, there's, like, unlucky circumstances where, like, you had someone like a Jack on BB21 who, again, like, coming into that, again, he was, like, very much pro as, like, oh, this nice guy, this, like, Jason Momoa seeming guy, and then it turns out he's, like, this massive asshole, and he's whatever. It's like, wait, is he stuck? But then again, I feel like through the casting process, they should have just vetted him better and realized that he was the dick that he is, and, like, all this stuff. It's like, I mean, I feel like it all comes down to casting, and comes down to how much research they end up doing into these people, which it seems like Big Brother has gotten very lazy in recent years. I mean, the fact that the newest BBUS cast that we got was BB21, a cast where they accidentally cast 2 people who knew each other and they didn't know that, when they very publicly have on their, like, I think it was on their Instagram or whatever, like, pictures of them together. It's like, obviously in Christy and Tommy. It's like, what are we doing? It's like, how did that get through? Like, and then also, like, the Holly and Kat thing where they knew each other, and, like, again, it's like, ugh. I don't know what they were doing there. Like, it just feels like they got really lazy, and I'm hoping that, again, like, I forgot, like, if this has been confirmed or not, but, I believe the new casting director is the guy that did BBOTT and has been doing Survivor, right? Like, I might be wrong on that, but I haven't, like, made sure that's correct, but I believe that's the case, right? Which, if that's the case, then I feel a lot more confident as well, because, again, BBOTT was a fantastic cast. Recent Survivor casts have been really great, with the exception of Dan Spilo. Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. I do have a lot of faith that we will at least get a good cast. Again, it doesn't always lead to a season, like a good season, because like you obviously have some production decisions in terms of game format and like all that sort of stuff. But it's like I feel like the cast is like the most like secure way you can get a good season. Because really, like, most things come down to the cast and how the cast ends up interacting. Yeah, Jamal's great on 39. I would love to see Jamal back. Jeff is in charge of Survivor casting, but he's not the guy that actually... Like, he's the one that makes the decisions, but he's not, like, the guy that actually... Like, I forgot what is his name? Jesse something, right? Do I follow him on Twitter? Let's see. Tannenbaum? Is that him? Yes, Jesse Tannenbaum. He's casting director for CBS at this point. Yeah, he's the guy that actually does a lot of the casting. And he's been doing recent Survivor seasons. Do we have 3,000? We do. Okay, good. And he did BBOTT, and I believe he's now in control of Big Brother US. Which again, like if he is working on BBU, again, like I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed, but I don't know 100% for sure. If that is the case, I do have faith that we're gonna get a solid cast. Again, like recent Survivor season, well, I Am the Idols is really the only one he cast. I mean, again, looking at Eye of the Idols, with the exception of Dan, we had a good cast. We had a really good cast. So it's like, and then looking at BBOTT, which again I think had a really good cast. It's like I have faith in him. But yeah, Jeff has. I mean, Jeff has really only done Island of the Idols as well, right? I mean, like technically, Jeff is always like has some sort of power there. But yeah, that was the season since Lynn Spillman got fired, right? That was the only one. Is Island of the Idols? Because obviously, Winners at War is Winners at War, and then wait, what am I doing right now? Oh, I need to return him. I'm an idiot. Yeah, so I'm the Idols is really the only test we've had, but I do think it was a good sign, with, again, the exception of Dan. Which, by the way, how did that get through, though? I mean, to be honest, I liked Dan in the preseason. Like, I thought he had potential to be a really fun character and everything, and then obviously that went downhill right away, but, and if you look at the cast of 39, like, it's a really incredible cast. I mean, you have, I mean, again, like, say what you will about, like, I guess, like, people obviously don't like Missy and Elizabeth, but it's like, I do think Missy is a really fascinating TV character. But, I mean, you have, obviously, Kelly Kim, you have Jamal, you have Karishma, you have, Elaine, you have, Lauren Beck is a great character as well. Like, to be honest, I mean, like, the worst casting decision on there... Oh, no, I'd say Jack's probably the worst casting decision, right? Actually, no. Well, with the exception of Dan. I'm trying to think, like, who's on there that isn't good? I mean, Ronnie, it's like we just barely saw Ronnie, so it's tough to really assess that casting decision. Molly probably isn't the most interesting person either, but it's like, at least she was there to play the game. And just didn't do it particularly well, but... Vince is a great character. You got Chelsea Walker, who's great. You have Jason Linden. I mean, there's a lot of great people even that were booed early. Again, like, I think Tommy might be one of the worst casting decisions despite him being the winner. Yeah, I'll defend Tommy's game to the till my dying breath. But yeah, I mean, I do think his him as a character is obviously like he's just extremely boring. Which, by the way, how did he get cast for the challenge? Like, how of all people in Survivor history did they decide, you know what, Tommy Sheehan is the guy we want on the challenge? It's like, what are we doing with that? Like, I don't get the challenge, by the way. This is, like, latest season, the casting for it. It's like, what were they doing? Like, the season that's currently filming. It's like, we get some good, like, I mean, Michaela's on there, Michelle Fitzgerald's on there, that's cool. But it's like, what are we doing, like, casting, like, all these people from, like, these random international reality shows that, like, almost no one that actually watches the challenge has access to watching? It's like, what are we doing with this cast? It's so bizarre to me that that's the direction that the challenge is going. Yeah, Tommy's on the challenge, but it's insane. It's like, how, like, again, Tommy is, like, oh, I'm an idiot. I wasn't even paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. Tommy's just not an interesting TV character. I think he is a great player. And again, I've talked numerous times about my defenses of Tommy's game, but as a like character, it's like, how could you see this guy on TV and think like that's the guy we need on the challenge? Especially like, I mean, like when you have like Dean right next to him, who I think is a perfect fit for the challenge. It's so bizarre to me. It really is. And like the fact that Jay didn't get brought back for the challenge is like, how did that happen? And like obviously Natalie Anderson's not on there either on the latest season, which is a disappointment. Though obviously like her Twitter stuff got in the way of that. But sucks to not see Natalie Anderson back either. It is actually insane that so many winners were in contention for this season. So many Survivor winners were in contention for this season of the challenge. Because obviously Tommy, Michelle, again, Natalie Anderson wasn't technically in contention, but again, yeah. And then Wendell was supposedly called and like was rumored to be on the cast at one point, but it turned out that was fake. But still. Which, by the way, what is Wendell doing? Like, I haven't been paying attention too deeply, but like I see now that like he's doing like stuff on HGTV, and like I saw like a tweet that was like HGTV's own Wendell Holland is doing something. It's like, what? Like, when was he HGTV's like property or whatever? Like, it's so weird. It's like when when did he start doing a whole bunch of HGTV stuff?
Well, the banker has a special evening plan.
But yeah,
I will be delivering your payment. Give it here.
I mean, good for him. I mean, the fact that he's getting like these hosting jobs and everything.
Hold him until I get back.
Better not lose
Yeah, maybe
sight
he'll
of the
make the
money.
big leagues on HGTV. Again, that's so weird to me too. Yeah, I would love to see Wendell play again, though. I mean, like, I don't know, like, I mean, it's not like a tweet or anything, but, I do feel like he kind of got a bit of a raw deal on Winners at War. I mean, obviously, like, I would rather see, like, Dominic play again than Wendell at this point, but still wouldn't be opposed to that. Yeah, I still need to do that video, the casting, dynamic duos or whatever I'm going to call that. I think that is on the schedule to do at some point. But yeah, I haven't done that yet. I definitely need to. Yeah, yeah, the challenge is so weird with its casting. I really don't get it. Yeah, I mean, but then again, like, yeah, a lot of male winners got poor edits on Winners at War, but I mean, that's kind of the nature of having an all-winner season, though, right? Like, you kind of have to show people negatively. Like, I mean, it would just be weird that, like, everyone just gets this glowing edit on a season of Survivor. I mean, did Ben get that bad of an edit? Like Wendell got bad at it. I mean, Wendell straight up got bad at it. Adam, I don't think Adam got necessarily a bad at it. I actually think he got he got a lot of airtime. Like, didn't he have the most confessionals at a point in the season? Like, obviously, like, he was shown, like, as a doofus at points, but it's like, I feel like in terms of, like, as a TV character, he was, like, a much better character here than he was on Millennials vs. Gen X. What was Ben's edit? I don't even remember Ben's edit. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, yeah, I do remember. Yeah, like, Adam calling him an idiot at points. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, Ben's wasn't that great. But then again, like, I mean, production loves Ben, though, so it's not like... I'm thinking they love Wendell too, and they gave him a shit edit. So yeah, whatever. Who cares? I think you're about. Yeah, you're right. Nick got bad at it. Boston Robs wasn't bad until his like last episode. Yeah, that's the thing about the challenge is that every season pretty much has. Like it's like returning people. Like essentially the show started off as, well, really started off as Road Rules All Stars, but essentially like the main show started off as having people from Real World facing off against people from Road Rules, which were these two MTV shows. And then that's the way it stayed for a while, actually. Like I like it started, I don't remember what year it started, but it started like back in the 90s, I believe, right? And then they had fresh meat season. Okay, I'm not even paying attention to the game. They had a fresh meat season where they introduced like new people to the casting pool, like from outside. But essentially, like it's like every season was pretty much like people from Real World or Road Rules, and they would bring back like the same people multiple seasons. Fuck, I'm not even paying attention to the game. Oh no. But then on again, like eventually they add fresh meat people, so like these like people that have never been on reality TV before. They had those. They had 2 of those seasons, but for a while it stayed like within that sphere. And then I think it was on Battle of the X's 2, which was like 2013, 2014, somewhere in that range. They added Are You the One, which is another MTV show, and then eventually I think it was Final Reckoning? No, Vendettas. It was Vendettas. Which was, I think, like 2017 or so. They started adding other shows. Essentially, now it's become this battle of the reality stars, where, like, they added Big Brother on that season. They had Victor from BB18 and Natalie Negrotti on that. They had, like, Kyle Christie, who was from, like, Georgie Shore. I don't even remember who else was on that season, but yeah, I mean and like since then it's kind of become this thing. But yeah, it's like it's essentially now like Battle of the Network Star or Battle of the Reality Stars. And it's like it's so bizarre to me because I feel like they're just making the wrong casting choices though. It's yeah, the fact that Paulie is not on, like, hasn't been on a challenge season in as long as he has is insane to me. It's like, how do you not cast Paulie and Cara Maria at this point? It's really insane to me.
Now we're going the right way.
Which, by the way, I haven't really got to talk about my more general challenge opinions and stuff. I love Cara Maria. Cara Maria is probably my favorite female competitor on the challenge. And I mean, I love Paulie Calafiore as a TV character. Again, he's obviously a dick at points, but he's just such an incredible character while also being a really good player. Like, I mean, on BB18, it's like obviously he has his downfall, but like before that, like he was straight up dominating that season. And like he goes on the challenge where he plays 3. I mean, okay, Final Reckoning, say what you will. But, like, War of the Worlds 1 and 2, like, he plays very, very well in both those seasons, particularly War of the Worlds 2. Like, that's one of the most dominant, non-winning challenge performances I feel like I've seen.
We just let him in.
Alright, time for the dumb tailing mission that takes forever. Fessy. I mean, like, I've said this, like, I'm pretty sure I said this in my Double Agents review. I don't fully agree with the Fessy hate that's out there. Like, to be honest, I think Fessy... Wait, what? How'd I get detected from that? Whatever. I think out of the Big Brother people, like, I would rather see Fessy back than definitely Casey. Like, I don't know why Casey's getting the call. Like, how is Casey someone that you want on TV? Like, I don't get it. Like, even after BB20, I was like, obviously I knew she was going to be a lock for All-Stars if they had one, a BB All-Stars, which obviously she was supposed to be on BB22 until she fucked it up for herself. But it's like, how the fuck do you, like, look at this person and say, you know what? This is someone we need on TV. This, like, really boring person. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why Casey is someone that they really like. But Fessy, like, I mean, at least Fessy has a lot of interesting storylines around him. I feel like Fessy is the one that, like, surprised me the most coming into the challenge from watching him on Big Brother. Where Casey pretty much just plays the same game on both shows, and Josh pretty much plays the same game on both shows. Like, Fessy's played a radically different game. Where, like, Fessy on Big Brother is obviously this bumbling doofus that never really had any control in the game, never really knew what was going on in the game. And, like, to be fair, I mean, it's not that dissimilar on the challenge, but he's, like, a very much more strategically aggressive doofus. Like, where, like, on BB20 again, like, he, like, had no clue what he was doing. Like, he didn't do much within the season outside of, by the time of his HOH, he, like, obviously does the dumb move of putting Scotty up. But on the challenge, like, he's very aggressive in the game. Like, he's making the, like, he does the Nelson blindside for, like, no real, like, it doesn't really benefit him that much. Yeah, he does this, like, super aggressive strategic move. I'm an idiot, whatever. He does this, like, super aggressive strategic move. I mean, this is the thing. I think Fessy doesn't get social dynamics really at all. But I like, a lot of people say, oh, Fessy's never going to win the challenge from this point forward. I don't actually agree with that. I think Fessy still has a lot of equity coming into a random season. Like, even though, like, I do think he's burned. Like, I think people give the social game too much credit in the challenge. Like, I do think at the end of the day, the challenge is a game about challenges and physicality. I think, like, while obviously it can be very much booned by having a good social game or strategic game or political game or whatever they want to call it, where not going into eliminations as often and everything obviously benefits your odds of getting to the end. But, like, really at the end of the day, the game is won by winning a final, which is a physical, essentially a physical test. Okay, what the fuck am I doing? Oh, fuck off. Okay, whatever. Like, that's the thing that I have a tough time assessing the challenge, is because it is essentially the opposite of Big Brother and Survivor, where, like, while those shows have challenges, and, like, I mean, Big Brother's kind of a weird case where, like, challenges lead to power in that game, but, like looking at Survivor versus the challenge, where it's like Survivor is a game where, like, they both have these, well, I mean, I guess technically there's some seasons, again, the challenge is so wonky, but technically there are some seasons of the challenge where, like, winning the dailies give you power, but outside of just giving you immunity. But either way, it's like the games of Big Brother and Survivor are won by winning the jury vote, which is essentially an element of the social game. While with the challenge, the game is won with winning a final, which is, again, a very physical challenge, which is inherently part of the physical game. Like, you can win the challenge while being this very unliked figure as long as you're able to get to the end. So in that sense, like, it's just a radically different game. Like, I think Fessy has no chance of winning Big Brother or Survivor, but I think on the challenge, it's, like, the perfect game for him to win. Yeah, I mean, like, he is someone that's going to make actively bad strategic moves. Like, he's not a good, like, at this point, he is a very aggressive strategic player, but he's not a good strategic player. Like, he's one of these people that, like, that makes big moves for the sake of making big moves. I mean, though, to be fair, I mean, like, he doesn't really do that much in the end game of double agents. But yeah, I mean, like, I think Fessy, like, coming into 37, like, challenge 37, like, I probably won't end up doing a cast assessment or anything for that show. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I haven't decided on that. But, like, Fessy would be a top contender for me, especially at this point now where he's gone to 2 finals. Mind you, he hasn't done well in either of those finals, but like I do feel like he has the experience to for sure. Like I feel like I'll be very, very surprised if Fessy doesn't get to another final on Challenge 37, or at least close to the final. But again, will he win? I think that's another question. But I think he definitely has a better chance of winning the challenge than he ever would Big Brother or Survivor. Yeah, it's like the thing that's so weird about this cast too. Wait, what? How'd that happen? Okay, whatever. Yeah, like I mean, that's the thing. Like I give Fessy a lot of credit for like at least trying. I mean, again, like Fessy's just someone that's naturally never going to be good strategically. Like I just don't think he has it in him. But like at least he's playing the game. At least he's playing hard most of the time. Again, he's a dick, but it's like at least he's like. And, like, I think that harms his social capital, and through that, again, like, I just don't think he can ever play a good social/strategic game without the help of, like, other people around him. Like, I think a lot of his social game and stuff was on Double Agents was helped by the fact that he was so closely aligned to Casey and, well, Casey. I was going to say Casey and Josh, but no, just Casey. Shit. He's obviously, like, he was very much benefited from being in that BB Alliance, which through being so closely aligned with, like, Leroy and Cam and them, like, they held, like, pretty much the majority the entire way through. But to be honest, I see that being the majority group coming into Challenge 37 as well. So... yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's probably going to end up doing pretty well here. Like, we still don't know the format. We still don't know a lot of things about this season. But, based on the cast and everything, the fact that it's so ridiculous that, again, like, the rumor was that it's going to be rookies versus vets, because there's, like, kind of an equal number of the two. And the fact that the vets are literally all from Double Agents with the exception of Amanda Garcia is insane. Like, that is ridiculously dumb. The fact that they couldn't go to any other season than Double Agents. Mind you, I'm very happy Amanda is the person that they get. I really like Amanda, but the fact that, like, everyone... like, why is Nani back? Like, I don't dislike Nani, but it's like, why is Nani still coming on the challenge? Why is Anissa still coming on the challenge? Like, a lot of these people, it's like, why are they still here? I feel like they have such little win equity coming into any given season. Plus, also, I feel like we've seen what we're going to get from these people. Like, I don't need to see these people play again. But... again, that's kind of the challenge just in general, I guess. It's like, who need to see Bananas 20 times? I mean, but to be fair, also, like, at least Bananas tries to, like... okay, wait. Like, at least Bananas play... again, at least Banana plays. Like, what did Nani do during Double Agents? We got it, by the way. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, I have a tough time wrapping my head around Bananas as a whole. Because, like, I mean, he is great TV. But he's also just, like, a massive dick for most of his, like, challenge career. Like, I think he mellows out in, like, recent seasons to a degree. But even then, like, I mean, wasn't that total madness that he gets into that fight with Ashley, and like I don't think that was a great look. Like, yeah, I mean, like I just feel like Bananas, like he is good TV. He's like this charismatic guy. But it's like he's also like if you rewatch like The Island, if you rewatch like a lot of those earlier seasons that he's on, well, not earlier, like he has that first initial run of those first few seasons where he is kind of looked at as a good guy. I mean, obviously the Duel, he was the first boot somehow, but it's like you have Inferno 3 where he's like looked at as this good guy. He comes back on Gauntlet 3 and is like again the earlier boots. Again, sorry for spoilers if you haven't watched any of these earlier seasons, but again, like you see him on The Island, which is the first season he wins, where it's like it's not really that good of a winning game. Again, if you really want to put like thought into the game of the challenge, and especially The Island of all seasons, which is such a wonky format. What am I doing? Okay. But he's such a dick on that season. He's such a misogynist on that season. It's like, it's really like not good TV at that point. Like it's really just, like I like The Island more than most people, I feel like, but like how negative that season is, like like the negativity of that season really does harm it, and a lot of that stems from Bananas and how he acts. And it's, yeah, that's not great. But again, he does have some like interesting strategic. Like I have a tough time assessing the challenge as a game, because it's a game where it's like the producers themselves don't want it to be a game. It's like they're actively like not telling people the rules. They're not. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like because obviously it changes format every season. It's like I don't even know how to really assess it. Like I've thought about doing one of the video ideas I wanted to do for a challenge was a ranking of all the individual winners, but then I saw that I think it was Caffeine Confessionals did it already, so probably won't be doing that anytime soon. But to be honest, I wasn't going to do it anytime soon anyway. But that was a video that I definitely wanted to like put the thought into putting it together. But yeah, I saw that he made the video, and then I think I like skimmed through, and it was pretty much like the same assessment that I was pretty much going to give anyway. I think like minor changes.
Where are Claudia and Maria?
We came back with the money. They followed us home.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. People who play actively bad versus people who do nothing.
What?
My sister knows.
I think it comes down to how much win equity they had.
Spoken like a true
Finally, you two came to your senses.
Like where I think that's like the argument of like people who play actively bad. So like coming back to like BB Can 9, which recently happened. Like you have someone like a Victoria who plays actively bad throughout a lot of that season, but then you have Braden who does nothing pretty much throughout the season, but still gets to the final two and technically had a chance of winning a jury vote. It's like I think like with someone like a Braden, it's like I would put Braden above Victoria, because like at least Braden got to the end and like had more ways of getting to the end, and also could possibly win. While like with Victoria, it's like while she wins if she gets to the end, she had no path to the end and didn't come anywhere close to that. Like I think it comes down to like which one is when it comes to which one is higher. I think it comes down to how much win equity that person had. Because again, I actually, this is a perfect analogy actually. That Austin is essentially Braden who didn't get to the end, where Austin is someone who again played the exact same game pretty much for those first few weeks, but was also so bad at threat management that she gets voted out early, and even if she had gotten to the end, she probably doesn't win a jury vote because no one really respected her within the game. So it's like I think it comes down to how much win equity the person who did nothing had. So like, again, like coming down to like Victoria from actually I just realized it's the same Victoria, but whatever, Victoria like from BB16 this time, not Victoria from BB Can 9. Like that Victoria, like the Victoria did pretty much nothing. Like that Victoria is not good because she has no. Well, actually, I don't know. Did she have a winning scenario? I like to think that she had no winning scenario. Like obviously she technically did, if you really want to be technical, in the sense that I do think Caleb and Frankie were willing to vote bitterly to vote for Victoria. Really the question comes down to like, would it be enough Again, Victoria against Cody. Like, we know that Derek has also said that he would have voted for Victoria. So it's like, that's 3 votes there. But I do think Cody gets the rest, so it's like, I don't think it matters. But, yeah, I mean, either way, like, I don't think it comes down to win equity. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, Jay taking down CT is favorite moment in challenge. I mean, it's good. I'll be honest, Total Madness is a season that didn't stick in my mind super well. Mind you, it was one of the first seasons of the challenge I watched, so... but yeah, that is definitely like a standout moment from that season. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, yeah, again, I keep on saying Double Madness for some reason. I keep on thinking it's Double Madness because I'm mixing Double Agents and Total Madness. But yeah, Total Madness is a season that it was like one of the first seasons I watched, because what I end up doing, again, like, I don't think I talked this through, like, how I watched the challenge. I talked about, like, portions of it, but not, like, in full detail. So, yeah, I watched seasons 12, 13, so there are 36 seasons of the challenge now. I watched seasons 12, 13, went back to season 10, because that was on Netflix, then went to 11. Then I decided, obviously I made that video, my experience with seasons 10 through 13, whatever. Then I decided, okay, let's get caught up on the recent season. And to be fair, like, I also, like, I've been keeping up with the challenge recently, so, like, I knew, if Cody wins BB16 and 22, he's absolutely the best player of all time. Dude, I think there's a debate even now. I mean, with except, I mean, yeah, I mean, too. I think there's a debate even now that he's the best player of all time. Like, obviously, I would still have Dan, and on my player ranking, I did put Derek above him. But I think there's an argument. Yeah, if he wins twice, like, hands down, he's the best player. Especially, like, in, like, his BB16 game. If that's a winning game, that's an extremely dominant winning game. Like, essentially, like, if he beats Derek at the end there, then don't you have to give a lot of the credit of what Derek was able to do to Cody? Because in that position, it's like, I feel like the reason why you give Derek so much credit for what happened on that season is because it led to a Derek win. Because it was in Derek's best... Like, a lot of the things that end up happening were in Derek's best interest. But if Cody ends up winning that season, then those things weren't in Derek's best interest. So I feel like Cody would get a lot of the credit for the moves that were made on that season, because, like, I still think, obviously, Derek would get strategic credit for... good portions of that season, but it's like I think Cody's win, if he wins BB16, is a very, very impressive win. Again, like, it's not like top of the top tier. Like, on my winner ranking, I had Derek number 1
Salve to you too.
at the time.
I was expecting my wife.
Somehow that does not surprise
I
me.
love that line. But yeah, I have
Tell me about their general.
if Cody wins BB16, like, he's still a top tier winner. Like, he's probably hovering around that Hayden spot, right?
I'm flattered.
Where can I find
It's only a matter of time before I have Valois by the throat. We have them in retreat.
See, that's the tough thing. I know a lot of people do put a lot of credence to people winning their first time over their second time. I think it matters what you're trying to assess. Again, when it comes to winning game, I don't, obviously. Like, when it comes to winning game, I rank based off what they did within the course of that season. When it comes to player ranking, I think you got to factor it in a bit. Like, I know, like, Taron Armstrong, again, is someone that I follow very closely, and I do respect a lot of his opinions. But it's like, that's something I don't necessarily agree with him, where, like, he puts so much credence on someone's first time, which, like, I don't necessarily disagree with the sentiment, but I disagree with his rationale, which is that most people don't get a second chance in the game, so you have the ranking on the first. Like, I think that's a dumb rationale. Because I think, like, with this scenario, you're already assuming that this person is playing numerous times anyway. It's like the fact that, like, I just think it's kind of a dumb rationale for that assessment. But, like, I personally don't like when I assess players, like I actually base it based on how they played most recently. Like when I do like my survivor player ranking, like I'm ranking Sarah Lucina based on how she played on Winners at War. I'm ranking Boston Rob on the person he is now, not the person he was in Marquesas. Like that's my take on it. Like I get if people don't want to do that, but also I feel like it's kind of dumb, especially like in the circumstance of Boston Rob, where it's like I think it's dumb to assess him as a 24-year-old his first time, in comparison to like the 40-something-year-old that he is now. But also like when do you like again like it's all semantics on like what you're assessing, because it's oh yeah, I'm fucking it. I'm not even doing the mission. You're supposed to do this. I'm an idiot. Like it all comes down to like what are you trying to assess? Okay, cool. Because it's like when I think of Boston Rob, when I think of Boston Rob, I think of his Redemption Island game. Like that's the Boston Rob that I think of when I rank him on my player rankings and stuff. When I do like the top 10 player of all time list, like I don't think of the Winners at War version of Boston Rob necessarily. I don't think of the Marquesas version of Boston Rob. So I don't know. Again, like it's just again. I'm an idiot. I'm not doing the mission again. It's not this one. I think it's to the person, obviously. I personally don't, but all right. Let's actually pause this. I already discussed that. Okay. So, say Paul plays a third time and wins and plays the best game in BB history. Would he be better than Derek or Cody or Derek due to his winning game despite winning on his third season? Technically, yeah. I mean, I think that's a tough case because, like, okay. Wait. Yeah, I mean, I guess you do have to... Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I think you have to assess all their... Like, with the top of the top, I feel like you have to assess their entire history. And... Like, I just feel like that's a very tough case of, like, Derek, Cody, Paul. Where, Wait, where's this last one? Oh, it's here. Okay, fine.
We are surrounded!
I've never done this in my entire life to where I literally cleared out the entire group of people. Whatever. I'm trying to think, like, because, like, Paul... I mean, I already have Paul assessed as a very good player. Like, I mean, I forgot where I had him on my player ranking, but he's, like, what, number 7? 6 or 7? I don't remember anymore. But he's really high. If he were to come back and win a third time, I think it would come down to how he played that third time. Like if he did, I mean, you're talking in a scenario where he plays like the best game in Big B history. I think for me, I would probably. I mean, that's what you call the best game in BB history, because it's like if this is still the same Paul that like has the terrible jury management and everything, and then like I'm assuming you're like saying that he fixes that. I don't know. I think it's situational. I think we'll have to see it and then assess it based on what we see. I think the hypothetical here is just kind of too hard to really rank, but yeah. I think there's an argument though. Like if Paul comes back and wins, like no matter how he wins, I think there's an argument for him being, like he's definitely higher on the list, right? Like if he can come back and prove that he can win no matter how he does win, like I think he does jump above like a Tyler for me. He would jump up. I don't remember exactly where he is on the list, but he would probably, like he would be with, I'm trying to think of my list. I don't remember anymore. It's Dan, Derek, Cody, Andy, Will, Hayden. right? Yeah, then Tyler, then Paul. So Paul's number 8, I think. Yeah, I think at that point, like, if he wins again, no matter how he wins, I think he does jump over Tyler. And probably Hayden. Yeah. Then I think, like, just... I don't know, because it matters, like, how he is at that point, it's, like, how he is as a player. Like, even if he wins in, like, a perfect... like the best game ever, I think you have to assess how he's changed as a player. Because that's the thing with Cody, is, like, it's not just that he played, like, the most dominant game in history, it's also that he's, like, now proven himself in all 3 facets of the game. He's one of the best challenge competitors we've ever seen. He's one of the best social players we've ever seen. He's one of the best strategic players we've ever seen. Like, he really dominated the game in every facet and also proved himself that he's able to, like, do it. Well, first he's proved that he's able to do it twice, essentially, like, play a very dominant game and get to the end, but also learned from his mistakes the first time and really showed how, like, near perfect of a player he is nowadays. Like, that's why Cody jumps up so much for me. It's not necessarily that he won with a great game, it's more so, like, what that win proved. And I feel like it would have to be a similar thing with Paul. But I think Paul would jump up spots, though, if he wins, even if it's a shit win. Okay, so, yeah, this is a very short sequence. Sequence 6 here. Like, literally all we have to do is, like, clear out a couple areas of guards, and then, just follow Bartolomeo for a really dumb mission, and then, kill the target. Like, should be done in, like, 20 minutes or so, if that.
So, you have a plan?
Once inside, your men can overpower the camp's patrols, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably about right. I currently have Andy above Will, right? Which I know that frustrates people. Yeah, I think at that point, yeah, I think he's top 4, probably. To be honest, I think as time's gone on, I would put Cody above Derek, I think, at this point. Like, it's tough. It's really tough, because it's like, with Cody, because it's like, I feel like Cody is, like, the most perfect player we've seen in Big Brother. Like, I feel like, theoretically, he is number 1. Like, I feel like, if I were to pick a player that I have the most confidence in coming into any given season, it's Cody. But... it's like, it just doesn't feel right for me, personally. And I don't know, like, I don't remember what my, like, how I explained it in my top 10 player video, but, like, it's like, on paper, Cody is the best player of all time, but I just, for some reason, can't justify putting him at number 1. Yeah, I mean, Andy's annoying, yeah. Andy is annoying. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, but he's just such a good player, though. It's like, the way that he is able to maneuver around BB-15 is very, very impressive. And, like, obviously a lot of people are annoyed by him because, like, you know, he is this... I'm thinking, like, I'm sure production wanted him to play up, like, certain things with his personality that did annoy people, but... wait, how much medicine do I have right now? I have 5. I have 3. Okay. Is it worth even wasting it? I'm just gonna kill myself. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Andy's game is really, really... Like, even at the time, I really loved Andy's game, even though a lot of people weren't. I remember, like, even after... Like, immediately after BB-15, I was talking... like, with Andy being possibly the best winner of all time in terms of winning game. And actually, wouldn't that be the case based on my current winner ranking? I believe Andy would have been number 1 at the time then, based on winning game. Again, player, like, I always have a tough time with the player, top 10 player ranking for Andy, though, because it's like, obviously he's only played once. And like while he had that very, very impressive performance in BB15, it's not like a guarantee that he would be able to do that every season. Like I feel like he would be able to do that every season, but it's not like, it's obviously not a sure thing. Okay. Okay, cool. How the okay, maybe I should just get better armor. I feel like it's kind of getting to the point where it's like just ridiculous. Okay, cool. Or I could just be playing better. I mean, that's another thing, but yeah. That's random. I just like checked my phone and got a notification that RHEP did a Talking with T-Bird with Rory from Vanuatu, which is funny. I haven't heard about Rory in forever. I love Rory as a character. Rory's a great character in Vanuatu, but definitely not someone that's come to mind in a very, very long time. Yeah, I'm Big Brother just in general, though, with like the top players of all time. I do feel like it's much harder to assess than Survivor. I feel like with a lot of the top players of Survivor, we have so much evidence at this point, or at least way more evidence. With like obviously like we've seen, like two masterful games, masterful-ish. One masterful game from Tony, another really good game, and one really bad game. But like we have a lot of stuff with Tony, with Kim, with Sarah, with Basara, with Jeremy, with all these like players that I would consider like the best of the best, Suri and whatever. But if like Big Brother, it's like we only have one season with a lot of these people who are towards the top of the list. It's like, I mean, Hayden we obviously saw in Survivor, but to be honest, I think his Survivor game is a bit overrated. But his Big Brother game is very, very impressive. And I think like there's certain elements of a Survivor game that are very impressive. So it's like, do I factor that into the BB player ranking? Like that's a tough thing I've always had. Like obviously Andy we've only seen one season of. Who else is there actually that has only played once on my top 10? June is on there again, another one that I think is very hard to assess. Okay, can we not do this, please? Okay, I'm just gonna use the medicine. Whatever. I need to get better armor. Wait, how did I lose money? Oh, yeah, I bought the guards. I'm an idiot. Should I buy the cross? I feel like I should buy the crossbow at this point. I don't know if I have enough money, though. Okay, that's the guy. Oh, yeah, Derek. Yeah, Derek's also really tough. Yeah, the only reason I put Derek above, the main reason I put Derek above Cody was because Derek obviously outplayed Cody in BB16. But I think now that time, like, I've been more removed from it, I think I would say Cody is better than Derek. Or at least Cody has demonstrated more overall game ability than Derek has. Like I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Enzo again. Obviously like people bash on his game in BB22 again, like for not making big moves and stuff. But it's like again, like he still played a really great game in BB22. Like he had like I think obviously he should have tried to get Cody out. Like I think that's the main thing with his game, or at least like do things to undercut Cody within the game. Like to be honest, like, a lot of people like say that like taking your like closest ally in the game, someone that played a very similar game to you, but like that's like a big mistake. And it's like while it isn't ideal, like it's not like game ending. It's more so you have to position yourself with the jury coming in to that final round if you're going to the end with that person. And I think that's where Enzo faulted the most, where like I don't think Cody inherently wins that jury vote every time. Like I think Enzo just did a poor job at setting himself up to be up against Cody at the end. Plus also I think comp wins also gave Cody a lot more credence with the jury, where I think a lot of them really... Again, that's the thing about Big Brother, is that I think Big Brother has... Like, Taron Armstrong mentions that, like, jury management is... I mean, that comp wins are the best way to have jury management. It's like, in a way, I do agree with that. To where, again, like, it's insane to me that on BB Can 9, like, the jury is still saying that the decision was made essentially by who won the final HOH. And it's like, it's insane when we have when we have Ty and Brayden, who, again, played two radically different games, with Ty's game being so much more aggressive and so much more, like, strategic. It's like, I just feel like, for, like, based on how this cast talked, it's like you would assume that it's like this cast that cared a lot about strategy, that they would just inherently go for Ty. But, like, to find out that it's like, yeah, they're basing it off who won that final HOH, it's like, who cares about the final HOH? Like, it's such an arbitrary thing. But again, it's like, in the game of Big Brother, I do feel like comp wins do lead to the perception of, I mean, it is power, because, like, in Big Brother, comp wins do lead to the person having power. But I feel like also the jury sees it that way as well, where the jury sees it as, oh, do we not need any more? Okay. As, like, who's winning the comp wins as being the person that's in control of the game. In most scenarios. Obviously, there's exceptions. But, like, I mean, I think, like, Dr. Will, like, obviously is he the only winner in the history of the show to win without winning a competition? I believe that's the case, right? And to be honest, I don't think he wins a modern season. To be honest, I don't think he has a chance of winning a modern season. Like, I think even BB7 Dr. Will, I don't think BB7 Dr. Will wins a current Big Brother season. Yeah, yeah, and Paul definitely would have beaten Raven at the end. Christmas was his best shot for win. I'm assuming you're talking about Enzo at that point, right? Yeah, Enzo going to the end against Cody and Nicole is dumb. Mind you, he didn't want to go to the end against Cody and Nicole. He was trying to get Nicole out the final four. But he couldn't, obviously, because he won HOH, and he needed Christmas at that point to win HOH. But then if Christmas wins HOH, he's voting out Cody, so he kind of just screwed himself. But yeah, he didn't want to go to the end with Cody and Nicole. It just, the comps played out that way. I'm going the wrong way. See, I don't think that it's that impressive to did not have an eviction vote against you. I feel like that's a dumb, arbitrary fact in my eyes. Like, for me, eviction votes in Big Brother are just so pointless. Like, if it's Survivor, I feel like it's a lot more impressive, because at least in Survivor, you can be voted for in every single round. With Big Brother, you can only be voted for on the rounds that you're on the block. So, like, even if someone wants to get rid of you in a particular round, if you're not on the block, you can't get votes cast against you. So, like, to me, like, never getting an eviction vote cast against you is, like, a really arbitrary fact in Big Brother. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, to me, it's, like, that's never been, like, a stat that interests me at all, really, within Big Brother. And, like, hasn't, like, every winner of Big Brother Canada, like, never had an eviction vote against them? I think that stays true even now if Ty, obviously, as Ty's never been on the block. Like, which is also, again, an insane stat, considering we have, like, Jillian in there, and we have... Well, I mean, Jillian technically was never on the block, right? By the end of it. Well, with the exception of the final three. But it is insane to think about, like, that, like, Sarah Hanlon never had a vote against her, that, the Pax Bros... Well, again, the Pax Bros were never on the block, right? Because they won comps and stuff, but so... it's weird to think that, like, some of these BB Ken winners that are out there, these, like, mediocre winners, have still never had votes against them.
You are not wearing one. What?
But yeah, back to Paul and answer that question. Yeah, Paul's biggest mistake.
Ah, yes. Then what?
Well, yeah, it was probably... I mean, like, his biggest mistake is technically his treatment of Alex and Jason, but that is the jury management part that you're mentioning. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like, I think despite his bad jury management, I think he would win against Raven. I think. Like, can they justify voting for Raven over him? Like, yeah, I mean, bash Josh as much as you will. I feel like Josh at least had a story for a win in that season. Like, I can see why the jury would consider voting for Josh. I don't see any way that you can rationalize voting for Raven over Paul. Like, I just can't see it. So, yeah, I would say, like, I feel like Raven's the only person he wins against, like, no matter what, right? Like, even with the terrible jury management and everything. Yeah, I feel like not touching the block is impressive, but I think you also gotta look at context. Like, again, like, I think with, again, like, Ty never touched the block. But it's like, it's not really, okay, come on. Like, and, like, you still give him credit for that, obviously. Like, I think no matter what, you give someone credit for not going on the block, because obviously with as many situations as there are that they could go on the block, like, you gotta be doing something right to never go on the block. But it's like, the stat itself of never going on the block is, like, with Ty, like, he had, what was it? If any of the oddballs win HOH from weeks, like, weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, like, any of them win HOH with the exception of Victoria, he goes on the block. If Tina, Tara, was it Kyle, Rowe, Austin, Brayden, if any of them win HOH during those weeks, Jed and Ty go on the block, and Ty is on the block, and that ruins his stat there. And that's like half the house, like literally half the house. If the HOH result went the other way, he goes in the block. You have the week where Tara has HOH. He was initially going on the block. The only reason he doesn't is because Beth is so bad at the game that Beth creates this really dumb plan to try to get Jed not on the block, which ends up blowing up her spot of being too close to Jed, which ends up putting Beth on the block instead of Ty because of that. And then also you have later in the week where Brayden essentially volunteers to go on the block even though he didn't need to. Like, he was literally given the option of, like, hey, if you're not okay with this, like, I won't put you on the block, I'll put Ty up instead. And he's like, no, I'm good, I trust you guys. It's like, again, like, there's so many opportunities for Ty to go on the block that, like, for me, I don't find Ty not going on the block that impressive. But it's like with and to be honest, even with Cody, it's like you still have these situations where it's like kind of I'm like, really, especially for including the final 3 round, it's very arbitrary. Like, final 3 is just dumb because it's like whoever doesn't win the comp is automatically nominated. But even without that, it's like there's also
Your plan is brilliant. I don't like using this kind of
there's also sorry, I was reading like some of these things in chat, but yeah, if Cody, or I completely, oh yeah, if Enzo could have easily put Cody on the block of the final 4. It's just like arbitrary at that point, though. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, the fact, mind you, the fact that he doesn't is just kind of bad for his jury chances in terms of it makes it look like he's being controlled by Cody even more so at that point. But it's like also like if Nicole had won the veto in the final 4, then Cody goes on the block, but he doesn't go home. It's like, again, it's just kind of an arbitrary stat where this is dumb though. How did they not detect me? Oh, what? I have no clue what happened there, but whatever. Okay, but let's look at this. I really wish Rowan won HOH. I think it would have been interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been interesting. I mean, he puts up Jid and Ty in most scenarios. If one of them wins veto, put up Beth, probably. No, he puts up Kiefer. Never mind, he puts up Kiefer. And then more than likely, whichever one of Jed or Tai that doesn't win the veto goes home. If they're both on the block, it matters what week it is, which one goes home. Though again, that could flip too. But like, because like Tai was the target earlier on in the game, but Jed becomes the target once Jed and Beth are more looked at as a showmance, and also once Jed like becomes looked at as like the bigger challenge competitor. So it's like, again, it could go either way. I feel like that's more than likely how the Row HOH plays out. But again, it would have been like I was rooting for it the entire season. It just never happened. Alright, that was perfect at least. I at least did one section right. There was a post in Reddit, Tai versus Cody on their winning games. I say Cody's better, but say Tai ever comes back and plays well again, he can't beat Cody as a player. No, I think Cody's just better than Tai no matter what. Like, even Cody's BB16 game, I think, is a better game than Tai's BB Can 9 game. For me, again, like, I think there's an argument there. Where, like, at least Tai actively... Well, okay. At least Tai plays in what he assumes is his sole best interest, while Cody almost always played for Derek, or with Derek, essentially. But even then, I think Cody's game there... Well, again, Cody wins against anybody but Derek. Again, you have the fault... Again, it's kind of similar to the Colby game from Australian Outback, where, again, you have to fault him for, like, going to the end against the wrong person, actively going to the end against the wrong person. But if, like, luck had played out in any other way, it's like if, let's say... well, but then again, Derek did such a good job at positioning that season, where it's like almost everyone was taking Derek to the end, too. So I guess that's the other flaw of Cody, is that he didn't position himself well enough. Because, like, who was the last person that was going to take Cody to the end over Derek? It was probably, what, Christine? And even that's debatable. Actually, no, I think that's probably pretty clear. Because at that point, she wouldn't have known that, that her relationship with Cody caused the controversy and everything. But either way, it's like, yeah, I mean, like, it's, yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument between those two games. But again, if you're comparing BB22 Cody to BB Can 9 Tai, like, it's not even close in my eyes. Again, we're talking about, like, Cody, BB22, like, again, one of the best players of all time at that point, and playing one of the best games in the history of the show, if not the best game in the history of the show, against Tai and BB Can 9, where like, he's a guy that's actively telling people, like, he actively tells Beth that he doesn't need her jury vote, and like, almost loses to Brayden of all people in a Final 2 scenario if that final HOH result had gone differently, and loses to Tara, someone who was voted out of the game and had to return back into the game. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not even close to me, like, because, like, again, like, with Cody, from what I understand at this point, I believe Cody wins in every scenario, right? Like, unless, like, he gets to the end against maybe Tyler. Like, every endgame scenario, like, he pretty much wins again. And obviously, like, he made it so he doesn't get to the end against Tyler. But, like, he beats Enzo, he beats Nicole. Mighty Nicole gets votes, but again, he beats Nicole. He beats Christmas. He beats Memphis? Maybe Memphis is the question mark. But, like, I think he beats Memphis. So it's like, again, like, he wins in almost every scenario. And yeah, Tai, like, who does Tai, like, I'm trying to think, like, who does Tai win against in the end game? Again, obviously he wins against Brayden. But even then, that was, like, dependent on how the final comps played out. Loses to Tara, loses to Kiefer, probably maybe beats Beth. I don't know. Again, Beth had, like, Tina on her side and had Jed on her side. So it's like, who knows how the rest of it's play out. I think Jed beats Ty. Because, especially because, like, in that scenario, obviously we're assuming that, oh my god, I'm really playing this so poorly. Okay, after the Sukins, we really need to do some upgrading. Like, I'm really playing so badly right now, and I just have, like, such terrible equipment, too. But, yeah, so... for me, it's not even close. Like, it's not even in the same ballpark. Did I talk about this on stream? I don't remember if I talked about this on stream, or... I know like, in the BB Can player ranking, I talk about it. Which, again, that won't be coming out until a week from tomorrow. Because tomorrow, my Circle US review comes out. Yay, right? Which, again, like, I'm so done with the Circle at this point. Like, I'm just... Yeah, it's like, I'm just not interested in watching another Circle season for a very long time. Cool. But yeah, I mentioned this in my BB Can 9 player ranking. I think the game that ties... The person that ties game reminds me of the most in terms of the winner ranking and everything. Again, like, dare I say it? I think it's Jackson. Like, even though, again, like, obviously Ty is a much more likable... What? How did... Okay, fine, whatever. Ty is a much more likable figure than Jackson, obviously. But it's like, I think in terms of their games, I think they have very similar winning games. Like, both games where... Like, I think Ty was much better positioned in the end game than Jackson was. But I think in terms of their, like, where they were within the game, their positions within the game, and, like, the fact that they were both... massive targets throughout the game and like would have been targeted had certain comps gone different ways. They were both like in major figures within the majority alliance that ended up blowing up. Mind you, I think Jackson was a bigger... Again, like, I think Ty played the better version of Jackson's game, but I still think they're of a similar tier. Oh, fuck off. Cool. I messed that up. That was my own fault. Is Jason Guy the ultimate player? Yeah, Jason Guy is one of the most underrated players in BB Can history, in BBUS history. Probably best player. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll talk about when I get from the BB3 player ranking, whenever that'll be. I mean, it'll probably be next year. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Jason Guy would be number one. That's my assumption right now. I would assume he's going to be number one. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think you have to give credit to Danielle for positioning herself better in the end game. But obviously, Jason wins more scenario. Like, he wins against Danielle, and also played most of the game equally well as Danielle. And also had Danielle willing to take him to the end where she loses to him. So I do think overall Jason probably is the best player of BB3. Yeah, I agree. I feel bad for Tommy in that situation at the final 5, but it's like... I think Jackson did do a good job there. Mind you, I do think Cliff was already going to side with Jackson in that vote. I think it was more so about convincing Nicole. Like, I don't think the lie itself made as big of a factor as, like, it seemed at the time. But it still is an impressive maneuver. And, like, it's impressive. Like, it makes me think higher of Jackson as a player, that he's willing to pull off a move like that.
Don't ever disappear again.
Even though, again, like, very questionable human being.
Really? But you rescued me.
Ezio came up with a brilliant plan.
I did not. It was all your husband's idea.
It was?
You are my prince.
Now I better earn that title.
Where would Jason rank as a winner if he had won? Pretty high. I mean, both him and Danielle would have ranked pretty high if they had gotten to the end and won the game. I mean, Danielle, if she wins against Lisa, like, she's one of the best winners, right? Like, I haven't like fully thought this through, but it's like, if she doesn't have the issue that she inherently has on that seat, like, and the biggest knock against Danielle in BB3 is the fact that she doesn't win a jury vote, is that she doesn't have the respect from the jury. It's like everything else she does in that season, or most of what everything else she does in that season is very impressive. But if she doesn't have that major glaring issue, it's like she's an all-time great player then, or all-time great winner. I mean, she's not like the outright dominant, like full-on dominance that like Derek had, but I mean, I think there's an argument for her being number 2 at that point. Like, I think like Big Brother just in general is a very, very tough game to. Oh wait, sorry, I forgot about Cody between 2. Like, I was thinking my actual ranking where I did have Derek at number 1. Yeah, Cody is probably number 1, right? Then Derek, then I think there's an argument for number 3 for Danielle then. And then, yeah, Jason would be around the same, right? Yeah, I think he's probably around the same. I mean, where did I put Hayden? I forgot where I put Hayden in my latest winner ranking. Because that's kind of where I see Jason, but I know I have Hayden lower than that now. Get in this situation where Jason wins, but then again, no, it's not as radical of a change as Danielle though, because like we're still talking in a scenario where Jason would lose against Lisa, right? So it's like this is still like Jason without. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter though. It doesn't though. I don't know. But then again, like just the fact that they take Lisa to the final throws is not a good move, right? I mean, it's like is a move that would knock him down a bit. I think Lisa's better than Danielle in BB3, honestly, due to how she played and was able to win against Danielle. I don't think the jury was better. I think Lisa was just better. Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like even if there wasn't a sequester, or even if there was a sequestered jury, and the jury had played out the way it was, like with the people that it was, I think Lisa still wins. I think it's closer. I think Danielle definitely gets votes. I think Danielle gets like Jerry's vote. I think Danielle gets Amy's vote. Possibly. I mean, it matters how Marcellus could convince Amy not to, but like inherently, like when leaving the game, Amy was planning on voting for Danielle. I think she definitely gets Josh's vote. Like I think she gets votes, but I don't think it's enough to win. Now, I think it's another question if you're talking about like the current jury format. So like if it's a 9-person jury, sequestered jury, or sorry, 7-person jury, sequestered jury. Like at that point, I think there's more of an argument for Danielle possibly winning that. I'm trying to think. Like I haven't actually thought this through, but it's like again, like if we're talking about Jason, Amy, Josh gets 9th, right? Yeah, Josh, right? And then Jerry, yeah, that would be 4. So she would get those votes. Lisa would get. I mean, even Kiara in a sequestered jury situation, I think is more likely to vote for Danielle. See, I mean, I think if it's a 7-person jury, I think at that point you can say that Danielle probably wins in a sequestered jury, or at least there's a chance. But I think if you're going full, like the entire cast, like Tanya's always voting Lisa. I think Lori's always voting Lisa. Eric is always voting Lisa. So yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like Lisa always wins with the full cast being on the jury. But what is going on with it? There's a lot of like weird visual glitches right now. Yeah, Danielle had terrible jury management. I mean, like, the fact that Danielle knew that they were going to be watching her on TV and still acted the way she does is not good from a player standpoint. Obviously, it's good from an entertainment standpoint. Like, I'm happy she did that in terms of giving us good TV. But I think it also shows the flaw of having a non-sequestered jury, where at that point you're incentivized to be boring TV to win the game. Where it's like, obviously we want these players to be able to act freely in the DR to make good TV, but also be playing a good game. Or be playing an aggressive game, I should say.
If I may.
while, and that's like the problem I have with BB Can, like especially early on in BB Can history where they would like leak DR stuff, and that's not great. And like Big Brother Australia just did this where they're leaking DR stuff to the other players. It's like, again, like, stop. Like, you're just incentivizing the players to not play, or to not play up to the DR, like not to be honest in the DR, and I think that's just never good. Yeah, Danielle wasn't as bad as Paul. Like, I mean, Paul, like Paul, I feel like Paul's jury management comes from a complete like, he just doesn't understand how the jury works. Like, he doesn't understand how people how the people in the jury would think. Like, it's like he's under this misconception that these people will never talk to each other, that these people will always like believe whatever he says on their way out. Like, it's such a bizarre thing considering he was also a returning player, because like obviously he didn't bother to do any research. Like, he didn't even watch his own season coming into BB19. Like, it's so bizarre to me that this guy that lost a jury vote the previous season, a 5-4 vote, didn't even bother to check on why he lost coming into the very next season, and proceeds to have even worse jury management on that season. Mind you, like, he actually changed his jury approach. It's just that he changed it in the complete wrong way. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like, Paul's game is incredible, with the exception of how he treats the jury on the way out. Like, if that didn't happen and he wins BB19, he is debatably the best, like, debatably has the best winning game in Big Brother history. I think Cody at this point gives him an argument there, but, like, I think before Cody, like, he's for sure. Like, I think he would be above Derek at that point. Well, I mean, actually, well, Den of Temptation stuff the first week is very wonky, so I guess maybe that'll be the thing that knocks him below Derek. But again, he's very, very high. Oh, what are we doing now? Oh, yeah, we're doing, I hate this part of the mission. I hate this entire sequence. Well, outside, like, the very end of the... Actually, no. I hate this entire sequence. Yeah, now I think about it, yeah, I do hate this entire sequence. He just gave his baby... Probably? I mean, I haven't actually fully thought that through. Like, if he just gives his BB19... If he gives his BB19 speech in BB18 and gives his BB18 speech in BB19... I don't know, I would really have to, like, reanalyze what he said and his actual... Well, like, I remember his BB19 speech. Like, I remember his entire, like, jury performance and everything there. Like, spoiler, I've watched it like a billion times. It's such great TV. It really is. Like, just, like, Paul finding out that his jury hates him is just, like, incredible to watch. And, like, as much as, like, obviously, like, I'm all for the game and everything, and I would have preferred if Paul had won BB19. Seeing him lose to Josh is just hilarious. Like, it is funny. And I think it is a good lesson. I mean, it's a good lesson in BB history if, like, people took the lesson, like, if they took the right lesson from it. However, obviously we saw in BB20 that they didn't take the right lesson from that, where Scotty kind of used that as justification for him being bitter, essentially. But whatever. Which, again, you still have to fault Tyler for, but still, it's like, yeah. Never was a fan of how Scotty handled his jury vote in BB20. Do I bother shooting him? Oh, I'm an idiot. I never did buy the equipment. I literally said right before we started this sequence, hey, we should go buy some, like, the better equipment in the game and everything, and I just never did it. Okay, where are we going?
Migueletto, the best killer in Roma. No one escapes him.
Till tonight. Come on.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, his BB-19 jury performance is, yeah, like, I just, like, the BB-19 finale just as a whole, I love the BB-19 finale. Like, I'm sure if I did a BB, finale ranking, which I don't know when I'll ever do that, but if I were to ever do that, I'm sure BB-19 would be very high on there. Like, it's just, it's such an incredible finale. You have the round table there is so funny. Like, the, Mark getting so upset at Matt and Raven. Like, I just love, like, I've said this in the past, like, I'm actually a defender of BB-19. I know a lot of people hate BB-19, and, like, yes, there are definitely points that are pretty dark and things that just aren't fun to watch, but I do enjoy watching that season at its point. And, like, I think I did have it really low on my season ranking. Like, I think it was, like, second to last or something like that, but I think in retrospect, like, it probably wouldn't be that low. Like, it's still not top tier season, obviously. Like, it's kind of like a similar spot to where I have Redemption Island, where it's like, it's not the bottom of the bottom, but it's like, it's still probably like upper bottom tier. Yeah, the not again and everything when the jury votes are coming out. Like, it's so incredible. Yeah, that's the thing too that I find funny about my. I mean, obviously you kind of have to, but it's like with all my rankings and everything, that like people like even though like this ranking came out like 2 years ago, like a ranking video would come out like 2 years ago, you have like people still commenting now, like being super angry that I think this way. Like obviously that's just the nature of it, like, but it's like it's kind of funny, like. People get upset at me in comments a lot for like opinions I don't even have anymore. Like, it's just kind of a funny thing. Again, I got so many comments about Chrissy being too low on the runner-up ranking. It's like I would have her higher now. Mind you, I wouldn't have her as high as some people want her to be, but like I would still have her higher. I would be interested in like rewatching some of my videos on stream. I think that would be interesting, considering I don't remember a lot of like the in-depth like rankings of certain videos, and like to be honest, I don't rewatch my Big Brother and Survivor stuff really ever. Like I've rewatched a lot of my video game videos back, and to be fair, like I mostly make those videos for me. Like most people don't care about when I do an Assassin's Creed series ranking or when I do a PS4 exclusive ranking or like any of these things. That's like I put a lot of fucking work into, but it's like I make those videos for me more so than like the 2019 year in gaming video. I'm about to do the 2020 year in gaming video. Like I put a lot of work into well, not a lot, I mean like I say a lot of work, but it's like in the grand scheme of things, like compared to like other YouTubers, like it's like not a lot of work, but like, I put more work into those videos than I do the most Survivor and Big Brother videos. But, what are we doing right now? Oh, we're supposed to find him. He's in here. Yeah, he's right there. But, like, those videos I rewatch. Like, I've actually rewatched my... It's kind of funny. Like, my not BB-19. My 2019 year in gaming video. I think it only has, like, 400 views or so. 400-something views. Yeah, I've watched that video, like, 5 or 6 times. Like, actually, like... And, like, there's a video, like, was it Assassin's Creed Explaining the Development Cycle? I think that's the name of the video. It's, like, a really old video of mine. I've watched that video so many times at this point. Like, and like it only has like 260 views or something. But I really love that video. Like, I really, I'm actually very happy with how that video turned out. It's just that like no one gives a shit about the video. Okay, yeah, we need recruits. That's what I was talking about earlier. Doctor, should I bother? We have enough money for a crossbow at this point. Yeah, you just fucking said that. Okay, so we're gonna need to do a Borgia Tower, right? Or no, I already did a Borgia Tower. I just need to actually bother to do the recruit missions. Alright, so we're gonna have to take some time to do this. Whoa, I did that many? I guess it's really only 2, considering one of them's automated. Do I not have Wait, no, these are recruit assassin missions, right? No, those are assassin. Okay. Maybe we do need to do another Borgia Tower. Alright, well, we'll do this one. Like, I get why BB9 is so hated. I just really like BB9. Again, BB9's another one that's like, it's so, like, Big Brother season rankings for me is, like, really tough because I feel like there's seasons that, like BB9 and BB19, like, these seasons that are hated by the general community, and, like, even I don't think they're, like, great seasons, but it's like, I enjoy watching them. Like, BB9 is such a guilty pleasure of mine. Like, there's a lot of, like, really negative stuff going on in BB9, like just Joshua, the way he treats people on that season is, like, really terrible, but it's, like, also just a really entertaining season. Like, it's a bit it's obviously, like, a trashier season of Big Brother, I would say, especially, like, from a live feed perspective. I know it was, like, very well known for having a lot of, like, nudity and, like, whatever, like, hookups and stuff on the feeds. Oh, is this the one that you... Wait, no, I think we're good. I know there's, again, one of these Borgia Towers that you can pretty much... You pretty much can't do without the climb leap, but yeah, this isn't it, though. There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to an alley return. It's never happening, obviously. Yeah, I mean, the thing about older school Big Brother that I have a tough time with is that, obviously, like, I didn't watch the feeds back then. So, like, I have a tough time, like, really, like, outside of, like, obviously what we're seeing in the show, like, I have a tough time, like, really assessing these players. So, like, I think there's a lot of, like, these players in, like, the earlier Big Brother seasons that I don't really know how to think of them. Because, like, I don't know the actuality of what really happened. Like, I haven't done, like, the research to look at, like, how this person really was on the live feeds and stuff. Like, obviously, I know, like, I have opinions on them based on what we see on the show, but it's, like, as we see from recent seasons, it's not always accurate. Mind you, I think BBUS is in general more accurate than BB Can, which I think just completely fabricates storylines in order to make better TV, I guess. But yeah, I would love an Adam return would be really interesting, considering he's, like, a radically different person right now from what he used to be. Like, he's now, like, what, a public speaker. He talks about his, like, struggles with addiction and all that stuff. It's like, I feel like he's, like, just such a different person. But if we also have the type of player that he, like, I think I think Adam's problem is his social game, in the sense that, like, I think he's a very, like, he's the type of person that, like, gets on people's nerves and probably eggs people on a bit too much, but he also has the ability to really bond with people. Like, we see him bond with, like, Crazy James, we see him bond with either way. Like, I was gonna say Sheila and stuff, but it's like, I guess that was more of a love-hate relationship. We see him, but yeah, we see him bond with, like, Matt and Ryan and that sort of thing, but I think, like, the Crazy James thing is the first thing that comes to mind. But then he also has, like, very faulty strategy. Oh, do we have enough? Oh, well, I didn't want to do the mission already. Let's go try to buy this blacksmith and see what we can do armor-wise. Because, again, we're probably not going to bother getting the armor Brutus in this playthrough. Yeah, passive-aggressive player. Yeah. To be honest, there's a point where, like, I feel like I was, like, really high on Adam. And then, like, I kind of got to a point where I was, like, obviously a lot lower. I think, like, now I'm kind of just, like, in the middle of those things where it's like, I just think he's a mid-tier winner. Like, he's good, but like I think he's one of these players that's like a better winner than he is a player. Like I think as a player, he probably is bottom tier in terms of. Well, actually, no. I mean, like Big Brother has some really wonky winners, right? I'm trying to think. I mean, you have Rachel, Jordan, Dick. All those are bottom tier, obviously. Even as players, like all of them, they're all bottom tier winners. But also, I just think as players, they're bottom tier. I'm trying to think like Will. Okay, Will. I think Lisa's a better player than she is a winner. Drew. I think Maggie's a worse player than she is a winner, but still not worse than Adam. Yeah, I mean, Adam probably falls a bit in that ranking, I'm thinking. But, I mean, yeah, Adam's fine. I mean, again, I think for me, though, he got, like, so underrated that he became overrated. What do I want to do here? Let's first up do this. Jar of leeches. Okay, sell that. Why not? Like, we're never using this stuff, so who cares? Oh, 4. We're at $5,000. I should probably buy medicine though, shouldn't I? Where is the Where's the doctor? Wasn't there one around here? Wasn't there a doctor around here? Here, right? Yeah, there we go. How much is it? 400. Okay, we can do that. So we'll do this, we'll buy all the medicine that we can get, and then we will see what we can do with the leftover money in terms of armor. Alright. Probably isn't worth it buying the better pouch and everything, right? Because I think at that point, it's like, we're just spending a lot of money on that. Yeah, I think we'll just get better armor. Which one do I want, though? I can't afford both, right? Yeah, I can't. So, I think we'll probably have to go for... It's 4, 2, 2, 3. We can't afford those two either. Well, shit. Should I just go for all these? Can I do that? 2,100, 2,000... Yeah, I can go for all these. Yeah, let's just do that. Wait, what?
Ciao, signori. Eventually to your amici.
That's the right one, right? Yeah. I don't like how it looks, though. It really just doesn't look good, though. Like, it ruins the robes. Alright, let's go and, Can you change... Is it under inventory? Yeah, outfits. Should we just wear the Draken armor? Armor Voltaire will just, like, throw me off. I feel like that'll just look weird. Let's do the Draken armor. Oh, does the Draken armor actually get... Wait, did I just waste a whole bunch of money then? Does the Draken armor actually give you health? Whatever. I think with the jury, if he had one... Yeah, for BB-22, it's like, I don't think there was ever a chance that any of the BB-9 people were going to be on there. Like, Adam, for sure. Like, I think Adam's someone they just want to completely ignore at this point. Okay, so yeah, it's just cosmetic. Okay, good. Just wanted to make it. Like, I didn't want to make it so I just completely wasted all my money. But yeah, I think, like, none of the BB-9 people were even consideration. I'm starting to get tired of you yet, though. But yeah, we're in consideration for BB-22. I think the most likely person to return would probably be Sheila.
Where is Pietro?
I cannot tell.
Probably. But it's like even then, like I mean, I don't think she was in consideration. Like, I think Sheila and probably Natalie are the two people. I think they want to avoid Adam and Matt. James again also probably. Yeah, you mentioned the gay porn thing, but it's like even then, I think even outside of that, he just seems like a very questionable person. Again, he seems crazy. So yeah.
I will. Without Volpe's thieves, I may require the help of my recruits.
Okay. This is the worst mission in the entire game. And I said that earlier with the other mission, but this is really bad as well. Do we even oh, we only have 410. Okay, no one. Maybe we should have gotten the climb leap. Actually, we didn't have enough money anyway, did we? Yeah, we only had 5,000, so yeah, we didn't have enough money, so whatever.
Please, I have done nothing. Francesco Trocchi. Dear friend, would I lie to you? You told your brother about my war plans in Romagna, who contacted the ambassador of Venezia. It was an accident. I am still your servant and ally. Are you demanding that I discount your actions?
I mean, I'm trying to think, like, who else from BB9 would have been cool to see back? Never need to see Ryan back. Again, Sheila, I would like a Sheila. I would have liked a Sheila return. I don't know if, like, by BB22 is like, do we need a Sheila return? But, I would have been opposed to it. Sharon, like, I never found Sharon that entertaining. I mean, I feel like she's one of these people that, like, can be entertaining if she has the right people around her, like if she's in the right scenario, but I think just naturally she's not that entertaining. Natalie, I wouldn't be opposed to Natalie. Actually, yeah, how would a BB9 player ranking go? I didn't even think about that. Like, Adam would be number 1, I'm pretty sure. Again, like, he does play very well in the endgame strat. Like, even though he has some wonky stuff earlier on in the game, and he does have the James nomination. Or James not being nominated initially at the final 6, which again is good jury management with James, but also just really bad strategically. Like I feel like as a whole, though, I feel like Adam's still probably number 1, especially like how he uses Ryan in the end game to essentially do all of his dirty work. Yeah, I know Sharon was at the BB20 premiere. So was Sheila, wasn't she? And so was, like, Parker. No, wait, was Parker there? Alex was there. Alex was there, though. I know. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, random BB9 people that were there, right? At the BB20 premiere. Like, I remember that there was, like, I think it was, like, a Reddit post or something where it was, like, someone saying, like, imagine if this was the cast of BB20, talking about the people that showed up at the premiere. And, like, that would have been an insane season, like, all those people that were there. Again, like, Marvin was there, right? Wasn't he? Like, there were just a lot of, like, random people there that would have been pretty funny to see. Yeah, I think Natalie is probably is number 2. Like, obviously she has the, like, she just plays way too hard at the end, but it's like, yeah, I mean, she probably is. I mean, I think there's an argument for Sharon in the sense that, I think she does get screwed over to a degree if the HOH comp. Though, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like she's getting into a final 3 where she has to go against Adam and Ryan, and it's like more than likely they beat her in the final HOH anyway. I hate this mission so much, though. But let's see if we can get through it. First try, anyway. It's so long and so boring, but yeah, I think there's... Okay, can we not... To be honest, I think there's an argument that, like, I think Maddie would actually be, like, not super, like, he would be, like, within, probably the top, like, 5 or 6 positions. Like, I think, like, again, like, the thing is, like, we're talking about, okay, fuck. I fucked it up. Like, obviously, like, we're talking about cast out, like, like, everyone, like, this is a just pretty bad cast strategically. So it's like, obviously everyone has their flaws, but I feel like Maddie would be relatively high.
Tieni.
Yeah, Devin. Oh, Devin return. I would love Devin. Devin from BB16. Like, it'd be so great. Yeah, Devin from BB16 is like one of my favorite pre-merge boots ever. Like the fact that like I'm so disappointed that he was on that we've never seen him again, pretty much. Okay, I was just being an idiot there. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like Maddie like has massive flaws in this game. He plays way too hard. He lies for no reason at multiple points within the game. But I still think like when we're looking at the cast as a whole, like he probably is still like number 5 or 6 on the list. I mean, again, like, but at the end of the day, it's like these older Big Brother seasons are very tough for me. Like, I would have to do a lot more research on these, just because, like, while I know like what happens on the show, it's like I feel like on the feeds, I would need to really assess how these players actually are. Yeah, like I haven't, like with Big Brother, with the exception of Big Brother 2, there's a Big Brother 2 player ranking coming later, but with the exception of that, every player ranking I've done for Big Brother has been from a season that I watched the feeds. And it's like, I feel like without the feeds, I'm missing out on just a lot of context on a lot of the game, and I feel like it's, like, I just don't feel like it's, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's like, I don't feel like I can talk super intelligently about older school seasons of Big Brother in terms of like some of these lesser known figures of the show. Again, like with like the Daniel Reyes's of the world, the June Songs of the world, the Alsons of the world, like these like more known figures, things like that. Like we know like the ins and outs of their games. Like I feel like I can talk about them, but like if I'm talking about like a G or talking about I don't know, like some of these, like again, like Karen is someone that always gets brought up as like one of these like great underrated players. It's like I feel like with them I would need to like do a lot more research into truly assessing their games. I feel like BB9 is like filled with those sort of players where like I just don't really have a great sense. No. How did I not fail that? What is going on? So this guy is chasing me. Okay, cool. I just don't have a great sense. Oh shit, I'm getting too far away. Of who belongs where on a player ranking there. Like Jacob would be at the bottom for sure. I can assure you that. Again, like I'm pretty sure, like wasn't it Peridium? Yeah, Peridium did a video, right, of like Jacob's the worst player in Big Brother history. And yeah, I mean he's pretty bad. I think there's an argument. I haven't like fully thought it through. This is something that I've been thinking about doing too. Future videos, just the straight up, just like top 10 worst players, Big Brother, Survivor. That sort of thing. Again, very generic idea, but one that I haven't actually put much thought into. I think that's definitely a video idea I would like to do moving forward. But then again, I feel like it'd also just be kind of boring because it'd just be like a lot of first boots, right?
This is for you.
Yeah, I think Joshua was interesting as a player. I think as a character and as a figure on the season, like I feel like it's very tough because it's like he just comes off as so negative throughout the season. Yeah, definitely as a player, I think he is an interesting player. Wait, what? How'd I fail that full sync? So confused. Whatever. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to focus a lot more when I'm playing Revelations. Because I'm playing Revelations to actually, like, eventually make a retro. I mind you, at least it's Revelations, a game that I know extremely well, so it's like I don't really need to focus on it. But like with any other game moving down the road that I plan on like actually doing a full-blown retrospective on, like I definitely need to focus a lot more than I am right now with Brotherhood, where like I feel like I have no clue what's going on half the time I'm playing this at this point, just because of how much I'm not focusing on the game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jacob is for sure the worst in BB9, and like again, serious argument for being the worst in Big Brother history. I think like out of the first boots, it's like he's definitely one that did like the most actively bad, and like for no reason either. Like he had no reason to be trying to call out Jen and Parker when they were like the power couple, or whatever it was called. Like it's just such an unforced error that, like, especially when there was such an easy target there in Adam and Sheila, who were like the only pair that well, I guess Sharon and Jacob didn't get along, but like they didn't make that open to the cast. I am maybe not fucked. I thought I was fucked. Okay, maybe I am fucked or not. Okay, I am in a position where I could be fucked. No, please no, please no, please no. No. Damn it. Alright. We're not doomed yet, but we're definitely not in a good spot. Let's just use one of them. This is really bad. Wait, where am I supposed to be going? Did he glitch out? Well, this is where Climb Leaf would have been helpful. But I think he... Oh no, we're good. We did it somehow. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, dude, I'll be completely honest with like my videos and everything. I personally have never found my content to be that good. Like I will wait, what? How did I lose it to whatever? Like really the content at the end of the day is really just me talking about things. Like that's really the main focus of the content. But I feel like the way I present the content has never been good. And mind you, I've never really tried, especially after I've talked about this in a previous stream. After dealing with a whole bunch of copyright issues and stuff, I was just like, screw it. I don't care anymore. But I still want to be talking about these things, but the way I present it at this point to me, no. Okay. Fine. Actually, I just realized I fucked up because I think I didn't kill the targets. That's why I desynced. Whatever. Again, it's like for not paying attention to the game. Oh, fuck off. Whatever. Wait, what? How they... Whatever. I don't even know what's going on in the game right now. I don't know what's going on. Like, how am I, Like, I'm pretty sure I know I did wrong, with the, like, how I died last time. I didn't make sure that everyone was dead before I left, like here, we just need to wait for them, get the checkpoint, there we go, we're good. Like last time I went too far away without them being dead, and I failed. Now I might fail from being too far away, because I hate this mission. This mission's so dumb. Thankfully, this is the end. But I really hate this mission. But, I mean, I've always, like, I've never been super confident with the content that I make in terms of the quality of it, but, Yeah, I mean, again, it's just a way for me to talk about things. I like talking about, obviously, reality TV. I like talking about video games. I like talking about a lot of stuff. To be honest, I wish I was able to have more variety at this point. Again, like, it's weird because it's like the thing that's, I think, holding the channel back is the fact that I do so much stuff. Like, I do try to go beyond just reality TV, because I think if I focus just on Survivor and Big Brother, I feel like the channel would probably be doing better. But I also don't want to do that, because that's not why I made the channel for. This is where Climb Leap would be very helpful for this mission, but whatever. But yeah, I wish I had more time to do different types of content instead of, like, because now with like at least half of my content being Survivor or Big Brother, it does really limit the other half. But then it's like, it's better than nothing. Like, because like when the other half is like like essentially, yeah. I mean, if you don't know, like every Saturday video, or at least planned Saturday video, again, obviously it gets mixed up because of scheduling things, but is planning to be a Big Brother or Survivor video, while every other video is kind of just everything else. And it's like other reality shows are mixed in there, video games are mixed in there. I would have liked to do more scripted TV stuff, but I just don't have the room and the schedule to do it. And also, to be honest, I don't have the time to watch scripted. Like, I haven't watched an actual TV show, I think, this entire year. I don't remember when Cobra Kai came out, the newest season of Cobra Kai, but I did watch that. Which, to be fair, I don't even like Cobra Kai that much. Like, I don't even like the series that much. I watched that, but, and like movie-wise, like, I believe the only movie I watched all year so far, again, like, we're over 4 months into it, like, we're 10 days into May. Like, I've literally only watched one movie the entire year, and that was Mortal Kombat. And the only reason I watched that is because I was sick that day. I was again, it was actually the first day I ever streamed on this on Twitch, and that's a lot of the reason why I started Twitch too, is because I got my second COVID shot and I got really sick, so I had to call in sick at work. And then it was when I was sick, I was like thinking, like, you know what, fuck it, let's give Twitch a shot, let's finally do it, because I made this Twitch channel a while ago, like months ago, but didn't actually do anything with it. But then I was like, you know what, screw it, let's try it out tonight. And then I did that, and then obviously now here we are, like, what, 2.5 weeks later. But yeah, I mean, like, again, like, going to Peridium, it's like, Peridium makes such better content. I mean, but again, I feel like I make different content. I feel like that's, like, I feel like the thing about, like, Peridium and Idled Out and Once Upon an Island, like all these other Survivor channels, like, they make content on Survivor. Like, they make it specifically, like, on, like, these very in-depth concepts within Survivor. Like, these like, essentially these ideas that are only interesting to massive Survivor fans, I feel like. Well, I feel like my videos are more general. I feel, and like, well, obviously, like, who, like, what non-Survivor fan would care about a what if video and that sort of thing. But, like, I feel like just in general, though, my, like, something that I talked about in the past, how, like, I've always, with my channel, like, I always wanted it to be a bit more general. Like, I never wanted to go too in depth on any specific topic. Like, when I started the channel, like, I always planned on doing Survivor and Big Brother videos. I just never planned on them being, like, the main focus of the channel. Like, I was always going to do a season ranking, a winner ranking, a runner-up ranking, like, all these, like, different rankings and, like, all these, like, more general video ideas. But, like, I was never gonna, like, and I never will do a video on, like, the was it, like, intentional Matsing, or, like, some of these other, like, I messed that up. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm, like, they just do, like, these very much these more in-depth videos on Survivor, where I do a lot more general. Like, it's mind-blowing to me that no one has done a winner ranking before me. Like, the fact that I was, like, the first, like, pretty much the first Okay. Fuck me. Yeah, first person to do a winner ranking where, like, I'm actually talking within the video and, like, describing why the person's ranked where it is. Like, obviously there's, like, these, like, slideshows of, like, ranking the winners, but, like, I feel like I'm the first person to... Okay, I just literally did this fucking same thing again! What am I doing? But I feel like I'm, like, the first person to do that sort of ranking. And yeah, I feel like it's just a really different approach. Okay, let's try not... There we go. Yeah, I feel like it's a different approach to video. Again, obviously, like, in terms of the... Like, ideally, I'll be using footage from the show and all that sort of stuff in my videos, but... it's a mix of two things. I mean, like, at first it was copyright, but at this point it's also, like, just time. Like, obviously that just adds so much time to the production of the videos, which is time that I probably don't have, especially if I want to still do 2 videos a week. Which I still want to do 2 videos a week because it still allows me to do videos that aren't just Survivor, which, again, is kind of the thing there. Don't turn around. Okay. Do we have throwing knives? We do. I've never actually tried. Fuck. Okay, they can't. Okay. Well, okay, that doesn't work. I forgot that you can't kill them. Yeah, I mean, like, I've never cared about subs. Like, I've never cared about... Like, again, this sounds like a dick thing to say, but, like, I never cared about my audience. Like, I never cared, like, how big of a following I got. Like, if I did, I wouldn't be doing YouTube the way I do it. Like, if I did, I wouldn't be... like, if I did, I would be making, like, recaps of every episode. I would be, doing a video on, like... Oh, how this player broke the game of Survivor. It's like, that's what I would be doing. It's like, I'm not doing this for the views. I'm doing this because I generally like doing it. Again, like, there definitely have been videos, where I kind of realize while making it that I'm not having fun making it. And, have since, like, stopped making those sort of videos. But, just in general, like, the channel, like, I do this channel because I like it. I mean, again, like, I don't see the channel growing beyond 10,000 subscribers, much beyond 10,000 subscribers. I talked about this already. What the fuck? Why wouldn't he run? Whatever. Okay, whatever. Yeah, like, I feel like 10,000 is, like, the biggest milestone that I see the channel getting at. At the point that I'm at now, where my most viewed video is the season ranking, and that's like at 80, is it like 83,000 views? I don't remember, but 80-something thousand views. I just did the same thing. No, why am I fucking up this section so bad? It's like, I'm fucking up this section so bad when, like, I didn't have a problem with Micheletto. Well, I had very minor problems with the Micheletto mission. I don't know. By the way, we're probably going to end stream once we finish the sequence, which should be within the next, like, 20-ish minutes if I don't continue to be an idiot. Yeah, well, we're about to pass the 3-hour mark, and we're kind of going to get to the point where I wanted to end anyway. And at that point, we, again, are in a position to where we're going to finish the game tomorrow, which, again, I will probably stream tomorrow. But that will probably be it for the week. I don't know. I'm still undecided on well, I mean, it will be the end of the week, but, like, the reasoning of why it will be the end, like, end for a week might change. But either way, like, Thursday, Wrath of the Druids comes out, which is the Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC, and I need to record footage for that playthrough, so I won't be streaming it. Oh, I'm an idiot. I thought he was further down. No. You know what? You know what? We could actually kill both of them, can't we? With Assassin Recruits. No. Please don't, please don't, please don't. Okay, we're good, we're good.
High King of Heaven, I see thee here.
Alright.
On my hand,
Maybe.
and on my spear, running
There we go.
like a crow.
Perfect.
From my eyes comes and
Exactly as I
goes, and
expected.
see but one and
To get
all.
on stage.
Lord, where does this water
I
come
probably,
from?
like, okay, yeah, I talked about, like, I wanted to do a video on the, like, creation of the channel. I think if I do it, it'll be... Wait, I just realized we're not in the outfit because we're wearing the Draken armor. I didn't even realize that until now. Well, this is gonna look dumb, but whatever. Yeah, I think if I do it, it'll be for 10,000 subscribers. If I don't do it for the 10,000 subscriber, like, special, whatever video, I'll probably just do it on stream. I'll probably just run through everything on stream, and... yeah, I mean, it'll probably just be a more laid-back stream of me, just talking through things. Like, we probably won't be playing anything, we'll probably just, like, talk through the origin of the channel. I mean, to be fair, I kind of ran through, like, the initial origin, but, I feel like it would be interesting to, like, run through, like, my thought process, through, like, the early portions of the channel and everything. I mean, like, again, like, it sounds so narcissistic for me to do that, and that's, like, the kind of the issue I have with it, too. It's, like, again, like, I'm a channel of 8,000 subscribers. Like, I'm fucking acting like I have, like, 100,000. Like, this is literally what, like, Lasers, which is a YouTuber who, I follow pretty closely. Like, he literally did that video for his 10 or 100,000 subscriber special. And like RHEP did it for their 10-year anniversary. It's like, for me to do it for like 10,000 subscribers just feels like really narcissistic. But I mean, it's something I've been wanting to do. What the fuck just happened there? Whatever.
You cannot save Pietro.
Yeah, I love how, like, I don't think I've ever even talked about the name, the origin of the name, the Marine Review. Not that it's even that important, like, it really isn't. Really, it's just, like, when I started this channel. Like, again, obviously, I wanted it to be a very general name because I knew it was going to be a general channel. I knew it was going to be just about whatever I wanted to talk about. So, I wanted that, like, so, I always thought it was going to be, like, the something something.
Cut him down.
And then I just felt like review is probably the word to encapsulate everything the most, because, like, pretty much every video I plan on doing was, like, some sort of review. Like, even, like, rankings and stuff like that are technically still, like, mini reviews, just assorted, like, within a ranking. So I was thinking, okay, well, probably review is probably the best word to put there, and then, like, the middle word Moranian is, is just kind of a... Like, essentially, the origin of the name Moranian is, like, a long story in itself, but it comes from a story I wrote when I was a kid, essentially. That when I was a kid, essentially, when I was a kid, I was, like, a massive fan of Dragon Ball, and there's a point where I wrote, like, a... Oh, fuck off, I fucked this up. No. Where I wrote a Dragon Ball fan fiction, and eventually, like, so, okay, I wrote this Dragon Ball fan fiction when I was a kid. Then when around the time that I was finishing high school, I, like, revisited that fan fiction, and I realized, well, this would be, like, a great story if I just made it my own, and like, if I just made it not Dragon Ball related, and essentially, it's, like, a story that revolves around, the history of, like, obviously, like, it revolves around, like, the history of this one planet, essentially. Okay, cool. I fucked that up. Yeah, the planet, is named Morania. Again, this is so convoluted of a story. Yeah, the planet's called Morania. Like, where's the name Morania came from? Morania, so, I guess I'll talk about my ethnicity here. I am part Indonesian, which, my favorite color is... Okay, this is so convoluted. This is the most convoluted story I could have possibly told. Okay, My favorite color is red. Red in Indonesian is merah. So initially, and again, this is such a complicated word origin there, but yeah, so Mera was initially the name of the planet, but then I was like, okay, people from Mera, where they're called probably Moranians, and then I shortened the name of the planet, lengthened the name of the planet to Morania, because I thought that sounded like better as a planet name. But again, essentially, like, all this stems from the fact that the name Morania and Moranian is, from a story I wrote as a kid. Again, very convoluted story, but that's essentially how the name of the channel came about. And again, I wanted a name that was like, again, like personal to me, because again, at the end of the day, that's kind of how I considered this channel. Okay, I'm really fucking this up. That's kind of how I considered this channel. Alright, so let's take this seriously this time, because obviously I wasn't even trying beforehand. But yeah, okay, let's actually try to do this. Because if not, I'm gonna be here for fucking hours. Okay. No. No. Get the fuck away. Can you not, please? And the problem here too is I'm like fucking tired at this point. If I mean, I know. Okay, that's like making this harder too. Okay, I think we got it though. We got it. We just need to pick him up. We're gonna cut it close. I think we got it. Yeah, if I ever do that documentary, like about the channel video, definitely gonna have to shorten that story. Again, like the most convoluted fucking story of a name origin, I feel like. Where essentially it's a name from a story I made that also I had to explain the name origin of that story that I made, which through that also explained, like, it's a lot of explanations there.
Now, what are you talking about? I'm simply a poor actor.
Cesare knows about you and Lucrezia.
Which, I mean, yeah, it's a story I definitely would like to finish at some point. I never finished it because it's like I've plotted it out, but it would take like I put so much thought into it too. It's like to actually write it, would take so much time that I just don't have, and probably will never have. But that'd be really cool to write that at some point. Let's see if I can catch him quickly and not be a dumbass and take forever to do this. Which by the way, like, why does he run so fast? It's like, it's so weird because like I don't remember him running that fast in the original version of Brotherhood. Yeah, like here, it's like he runs ridiculously quickly here. Okay, and I'm fucking this up too. So, wait, can we get on a horse? Actually, I don't think I've ever done this. You can't kill him, too, by the way. Which is dumb, considering he dies, like, immediately after this, anyway. No. Game. Oh, you fucking... Okay, cool. Game, please. No. Okay, well, that worked perfectly. Come on. Okay, so we can go through here. I think we okay, well, if that crowd wasn't fucking there, I would have had him. No. I just feel like everything's a fucking disaster in this sequence. Like, did we do a single mission here well? Whatever.
Why did you run? You are the traitor, not Machiavelli.
Long live
the Borgia. Yeah.
Merda. I was right. I have to stop La Volpe before he gets to Machiavelli.
like, this is such a dumb plot too, by the way. It's like La Volpe, like, ready to fucking assassinate Machiavelli here. With, like, almost no proof to him actually being the traitor. And us literally having to run back all the way to Isla Tiberina and then, like, to literally find La Volpe literally about to kill Machiavelli. And then we're like, no. It's so dumb. I've listened to this soundtrack way too much in my life. Alright.
I have discovered the traitor. What? One of our men. He was at the villa attack. Here, he carried this letter.
My God.
This is good news.
More than you know.
I am once again in your debt, Ezio.
What debt is there amongst friends who trust one another?
Yes. Thank you for relaying the message in time. Come, Niccolo. It has been far too long since we've talked.
I heard the Colosseum Passion Play took an unexpected turn this year.
Yeah, I love how I never even finished my thought from earlier, but
resurrected 3 days early.
With my opinions on my content. So yeah, like, I stopped reading comments, if I'm being honest. Like, that was kind of where I was leaning to with that. Like, when I first started the channel, I would read comments, and then I got to the point where, like, I think by the time, like, my channel, like, started to get viewership and everything, obviously, one, there's a lot of there became a lot of comments, but also it's like there were a lot of negative comments at that point. From the, like, Survivor 40 cast assessment, the winner ranking, Caesar ranking, like, all that sort of stuff. Like, I just got, like, a lot of negative comments, and I just, like, stopped reading them. Even now, like, when, like, I'm sure the comments are a lot more positive, I just don't read them as often. Like, if, like, when a video goes public, usually, like, within the first 30 minutes I check up on it and stuff, and, like, usually I'll see comments then, but, like, for the most part, like, I don't really read comments beyond that, though. Like, there's here and there where I'll respond to questions that about, like, oh, like, will you do this video or that sort of thing, but it's like, for the most part, though, I just don't read comments anymore, so I'm sorry to people that are commenting pretty much into the nothing, but yeah, obviously I feel like Twitch here is obviously the better way to actually ask questions and stuff to me, obviously, especially now with the stream being relatively small. It's easier to actually be able to talk. Yeah, I mean, that's why I said, like, I'm pretty sure comments are a lot more positive nowadays than what they were. And because I think especially, like, on the smaller videos, like, smaller as in, like, not videos that have, like, 20,000 plus views, I do feel like it shouldn't be bad going into the comments there, but it's like, I just stopped reading, though. And to be honest, like, when it comes to video ideas, for most people, it's like, I already have most of those ideas written down. I have a spreadsheet where I have, like, I forgot the exact number, but I believe it's somewhere around 700 video ideas. It's a lot. Mind you, like, only, like, I think 200 of them are Survivor and Big Brother. So there's a lot of, like, stuff that I probably won't ever actually get around to doing. But I do have a lot of video ideas already jotted down. Like, I already have a pretty good grasp on videos I want to do moving forward. Again, like, this entire year is already scheduled, pretty much, at this point. I mean, it is, when I say pretty much scheduled, it is scheduled. It's just a matter of, like, whether, like, I haven't started working on the end of the year, obviously, but it is scheduled. Again, that schedule is very much likely to change, but it's at least, like, on the spreadsheet that I keep my schedule and everything, like, every spot up until the end of the year is filled out.
He runs for the Castel Sant'Angelo.
Grazie.
Well?
The decision is yours, not mine.
Niccolo, you better not stop telling me what you think.
Why else would I seek the opinion of my
No, it's a leap of faith. I mean, you gotta know Assassin's Creed, man.
Finish what you start.
Like, obviously, like, what are you doing with your life if you don't know everything about Assassin's Creed?
If you do,
make it short. Oh my god. I can't believe I shouldn't know as much about Assassin's Creed as I do. Like, the fact that I was, like, so obsessed with Assassin's Creed for a good, like, what was it, like 5 years of my life or so? And even beyond that, like, like, obviously now, like, I'm not, like, I don't care about Assassin's Creed anymore. Yeah, by the way, obviously that was a joke. Like, yeah. Yeah, it's like, Assassin's Creed is a series that is so important to me. Like, I think it fundamentally changed how I view the world, which sounds like ridiculous saying from like a video game, but like it really did. Like a lot of the like philosophical debate that comes up in Assassin's Creed, and a lot of the concepts around like the origin of human beings and religion and all that stuff, like really just like changed my worldview after that. And like overall, like Assassin's Creed is just a series that is so important to me, but it has gone so fucking downhill that it's so frustrating that like you play something like Odyssey and Valhalla and it's still in the same series as something like this. Yeah, I am an atheist at this point. To us, for a while, I would have said I was agnostic, but I feel like at this point, like I'm just very anti-religion to the point where I just like I might as well just say atheist. What was the last good AC game? I might as well mean good. I mean, like, I might as well also mean by AC game. It's so weird. Like the Assassin's Creed series is a series where the first like good chunk of games is so radically different from what we're getting now, where again these were more like, I wouldn't say grounded, because obviously there are ridiculous elements to it. You got the Pieces of Eden, you got the Isu, you got like these like sci-fi elements that are grounded within the franchise, but like still like these ridiculous elements. But it's like when we get to like Odyssey, like, and Valhalla, these RPGs that are very much focused around like mythology, and it's like it just feels like along the way through there being so many voices, it's like just become misconstrued what Assassin's Creed really is, where it starts off as this series about philosophy between the assassins and the Templars, and has a modern day that connects all the stories together. And like it just feels like now they've just kind of lost their way, where they're just making games just to make money at this point, which, I mean, to be fair, obviously is like that's the goal inherently for Ubisoft, like as a company, is to make money. But I feel like the quality of the products that they're making has definitely gone downhill. Like last good AC game, I mean, I like Origins, but again, like as a part of the Assassin's Creed series, it's the start of the downhill of the, like it's the beginning of the RPG Assassin's Creed game, which is a fundamentally flawed concept in its own right. But I feel like Origins was the one that handled it the best. Like even outside of Assassin's Creed, I just love Origins. It's just a game I genuinely like, and this is a video that I talked about wanting to do as a top games of the 8th generation video, and I did put together a mock list for that, and I kind of realized that yeah, I think Origins is still like pretty high up there, even though I don't like my opinion of Origins has slipped over time, but it's still like within the top 10, I think. Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion was not good. I'll talk about it in my 2020 year in gaming video. Watch Dogs Legion was not good. But yeah, last good AC game. Like, I mean, Black Flag is incredible. Like, I think Black Flag was the game that mixed like the two philosophies on current Assassin's Creed the best, in the sense that it did this like because like now Assassin's Creed has become obsessed with like being this historical fantasy. Like Valhalla was a Viking fantasy. Odyssey was like the Spartan fantasy. Origins didn't do it as much, but I mean, like it's like the series is now more so based around this like historical tourism, and I feel like Black Flag was the last one to do it really well, where it mixed the pirate fantasy element of it while also telling a really great Assassin's Creed story, a story that is very much about the philosophies of the Assassins and Templars, while also having this great character, character study in Edward, this person who starts off the game as like someone that is corrupted by greed, and this person that doesn't care about the Assassins or the Templars, but becomes that accidentally like gets involved in their war, and eventually like learns the ideals of the assassins and decides to eventually join the Assassins at the end. Again, such a great story. And Edward as a whole is just such a great character within that game, and they also again match that with having really great pirate gameplay that still feels like Assassin's Creed as well. Like there's still I mean, it's essentially, obviously it's the same engine as Assassin's Creed 3, so it's like it still feels like Assassin's Creed. And where like if I ever play Valhalla on this channel, or Odyssey, which, oh my god, I can't imagine playing Odyssey. Like, we'll talk about how radically, even Origins, like I'm sure I'll play Origins at some point, and we'll talk about it when I play Origins, just how radically different these games have become over time. Or again, like the game that we're playing right now, like if you like compare this to Valhalla, the newest game in the series, like it's two radically different games. Like it's not the same thing. Yeah, I didn't like Watch Dogs 2. I think it comes from like what you're looking for within a game. Like for me, I love Watch Dogs 1 as like, again, a character study of Aiden Pierce. I love Aiden Pierce as a character. I know a lot of people didn't like him and found him boring. I think Aiden Pierce's story is really one of the things that I really love about Watch Dogs 1. And then like the gameplay itself is just kind of meh. I mean, like Watch Dogs 2 is just more of the same. Watch Dogs 2 is probably Watch Dogs 2 is probably the better game from like a game standpoint. Like it plays better. Even though I do feel like the controls are a bit more floaty in that game, but like for the most part it plays better. But it also just I just feel like narratively it's so uninteresting to me. Like, because like to be honest, the narrative itself is like just it's not even like they're really trying that much. Plus also it feels like it's like this kind of thing that Ubisoft has kind of done recently, is like tried to be this like edgy, hip, cool like sort of thing with like these characters that are hackers and use slang all the time and like all this sort of stuff. It's like it's dumb to me. I really don't like Watch Dogs 2 from that element. Like I still think, like in the grand scheme of things, like Watch Dogs 2 is still a playable game. Like it's better than Watch Dogs Legion. Like I would much rather play Watch Dogs 2 over Legion any day. But it's still not great. Like it's in many ways the way I feel like about Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I think does a very similar thing in terms of it trying to be like this like edgy, like funny game. I don't know. It's like it's a very similar sort of vibe. And like, again, Ubisoft just does this all the time with their games at this point, where it's like they're trying to appeal to this like younger audience. Yeah, well, Legion is just so like like nothing. Like from a narrative standpoint, it literally is like pretty much nothing. Like it's a game that like it's so weird because like Legion's another example. Like if you go from Watch Dogs 1 to Watch Dogs Legion, it's like how is this still the same series? Like I mean, at least like with Watch Dogs though, at least there's still like somewhat of an identity in terms of like at least there's like still the hacking abilities. At least there's still DedSec to a degree. I don't know. Like at least there's still stuff. Well, like if you go from Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it's like outside, like technically there's not even Assassins and Templars in Valhalla. It's hidden ones in the War of the Ancients. It's like Eagle's Vision isn't even Eagle's Vision. It's fucking Odin's sight. I mean, it's like, what's the same between Assassin's Creed 1 and Valhalla? And I think if we go from Assassin's Creed 1 to Odyssey, I think it's even more of a disparate, like, sort of thing. Because at least, like, Valhalla actually has, like, tributes to AC1 within it. But it's like, again, AC1 to Odyssey, it's like, what's the similarity between the two games? Like, literally what? Like, anything. Like, what is the similarity there? What, they both have modern day? Is that what it is? I don't know. I feel like I'm starting to lose my mind at this point. We're gonna end the stream. I'm really tired. So, yeah, that'll be it for tonight. Again, we got to the point that I wanted to get to. We're at Sequence 8 now. All we got left is Sequence 8 and Sequence 9. Sequence 8 should only take about an hour. Sequence 9 should only take about half an hour or so. We should be able to get the game done within like an hour and 45 minutes or so. Next episode, like tomorrow night, and then we will probably go ahead and maybe do Da Vinci Disappearance. But yeah, that is the end of the stream. Yeah, thank you to Engine Twitcher and Zendi Twitch. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. Thank you guys for staying up. And well, actually, I don't know what time zones you're at, so for all I know, it's like daytime where you guys are. But yeah, where I'm at, it is 2:42 in the morning. So yeah, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow night. And yeah, but yeah, that's it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching.